thank you all for those who have stuck around from the previous show. Awfully Silly is a great show. If you missed it, please go back and check it out. Lots of awesome episodes. But hello, I am Kung Fu Fruit Cup. We are back with another episode of That's Never Happened Before, which is a show here on GDQ Hotfix centered around runs with glitches. We're all about the glitch life. We bring on runners who have a lot of knowledge and experience with the glitches in games, and they're here to break them down and explain them to us in all kinds of different formats, whether it's like in the middle of a run or just in an exhibition style, showcasey, all kinds of fun things like that. So tonight we are joined by the one and only Phant_TV. Hi, Phant.
Hello, Fu. How's it going? Happy to be here.
Good. Phant's great. Happy New Year. Well, almost Happy New Year. Happy
almost,
holidays,
yeah, not quite. Couple more days. Can you believe 2021's almost over?
I think that's probably for the best. But yeah, so Phant is here to show off a link to the past this evening. Now, if you don't know Phant, Phant is one of our newer showrunners here on GDQ Hotfix. Please go check out his show. It is great. Do you want to talk about that for a second, Phant? Just let him know.
Yeah, sure. So I took over responsibilities for Game Masters, a show about like artistry and speedrunning adjacent stuff. So I'm actually co-hosting that with Air Angel. So Air Angel will take like the first show of the month, and I'll take the second show of the month. So there you go. My next one's going to be right after AGDQ, January 18th. I don't think I can say what the show is going to be yet, but I know GDQ chat, you're going to love it. So just keep an eye out for that one. It's going to be something you all will very much enjoy, I promise.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. There's a lot of stuff coming up. Just like Awesome Games Done Quick 2022 Online. That is happening in just a few weeks here, and I don't feel like I'm not ready. I still have kind of a lot to do, and now it's going to creep back up on me. So before we worry about that, let's have fun with this. So again, Phant is going to show off a lot of the glitches in A Link to the Past. It is all dungeons, major glitches. Yeah, all
dungeons, major glitches. So basically, like you'll often see this category just listed as all dungeons. So if you astute viewers of GDQ may have seen Glan run this category at AGDQ 2021 earlier this year, not last year yet, almost though. So he did a wonderful run, and the run's now completely different than what was showcased there. A lot of new stuff has been found, or new routes have been discovered, and a lot of crazy stuff is going to be happening. So yeah.
Wild. And this is a 30-year-old game, and it's still changing so much. It's so cool to see when that kind of thing happens. Now, I mean, just before we get into it, because I always have to do this, I want to know what brought you to Link to the Past in the first place. Like, why run it? Why? I know you did some stuff with randomizers. Like, what got you into this?
Yeah, Link to the Past has a pretty storied history with me personally. So when I was 4 years old, I got a Super Nintendo for Christmas with Link to the Past and Super Mario World. Beat those two games, love those two games, which, awesome. Not to brag, I'm pretty proud of my 4-year-old self for beating this game, because it's not easy. Well, I'm pretty proud of me from back then.
You beat them all by yourself?
All by myself, yeah, because my parents didn't know how to play games, so I had to figure it all out myself, hook it up myself, essentially. So it's just like, here you go, have fun, and do it. So I love this game. I've always loved this game. And then in more recent years, everybody's at this point has probably heard of Link to the Past Randomizer, or randomizers in general. I don't know how many times we've said in the GDQ pre-show, randomizer taking the world by storm, right? So every year we're getting more and more randomizers and various things. And I love Link to the Past Randomizer. It's great. So I was doing that, and I still do Link to the Past Randomizer, since like 2018. So going on almost 4 years of running that. Then I decided to delve into the speedrunning world, do some NMG, no major glitch runs. And then after that, I was like, Link to the Past is a super interesting game. And the glitches are really weird. I have no idea how any of this stuff works. So I literally learned this run just to understand how the game works and how these things come together to make a run like this possible. And that's basically what I'm going to be sharing with you today, with you all, is my last 3 months, 4 months of deep diving this game and how it works, and trying to coalesce it down into the basics of here's why we do this, how it happens, why it happens, when it happens, and what we do that's important. So
perfect. And like the setups for it and everything like that. Which is perfect. I mean, that's why like Phant came to me with this idea for the show, and I was like, that sounds amazing. Because when you put in this amount of work into it, you're gonna have like the knowledge or the notes written down to be able to really show off all of the things that go into this. So he has a lot to talk about, a lot to show us. So I would love to hear more about like your experiences with speedrunning, but I also want to get into the runs. So anytime we have downtime, we can get into more of that. But I'm going to let you go ahead and take it away, and then you can do a countdown, and then we can get started. And we'll probably, sometimes we'll go a little fast and sometimes we won't. People coming in for the first time, this is not a show that is just a fast speedrun. This is how and why.
Yeah, we're not going to be doing a run from start to... Well, we're going to be doing a run from start to finish, but we're going to take frequent breaks and pauses to explain what's going on. Because the world record for this category is under 40 minutes by Hotarubi, which is a person that's going to be running in GDQ 2022. Not this category, but I think it's all dungeons, no exploration glitch. What's that? We'll get into that momentarily. So, yeah, it's a fast run, but no, we're not going to be going that fast because in order to explain everything, we have to stop because there is so much going under the hood. Yeah.
Right. There's just a lot that goes into it, for sure.
And
yeah, we'll get into that. And for those who are in chat and have any questions as we go along, feel free to ask. I will be relaying messages, as always, to our runner. And so I'm just going to kind of, whenever you're good.
Yeah, I'll do my best to answer. And just really quick before we start, I want to say we're running on the practice hack for this. You've maybe seen the big letters on top. Like, oh no, scary words. So this is a mod of the game that has a whole bunch of tools built in, like save states and things on the display that speedrunners use in order to practice their speedruns. So a lot of older games like Super Nintendo era, NES era have this type of mod that you can go and more efficiently learn how to do things. But it has a lot of display features that we're going to be using to help illustrate what's going on. But I'm ready to start. So I guess I could give a countdown on go.
Yeah, go for it.
3,
ready,
2, 1, go. So things start off normally, and as soon as this cutscene's done and we have control of Link, I'm immediately going to pause and point out a couple things to you, just to help show what to look at on this interface. So this is the practice hack interface. It doesn't look like the regular game. You see there's no heart meter on the top right. There's a controller there, which you probably have already figured out what the point of that is. That's my input display, so you can see exactly what's going on. Yeah. So I got this fancy little laser pointer here, this little yellow arrow. So I'm going to be pointing out some things. So right here, these 3 white numbers, that is Link's X position. So everything is in hexadecimal, which if you don't know what hexadecimal is, don't worry about it. It's just instead of counting from 0 to 10, you're like counting from 0 to 16 or something like that. And after you get 0, you see A's, B's, C's, and D's, but it's not too important. Don't worry about it. And then these yellow numbers here are your Y coordinates. See that? That's all nice. This here is the input display. So that's showing the buttons that I'm pressing. See, there's L, there's the D-pad, select is right there. Other buttons are on the right side. So that's super nice. Right here, this is my health. So 1 heart container is equal to 10 health. So right now, at the start of every Zelda game, you probably know this, you have 3 hearts, which are listed by this point of the display. And this is how much health you have. So it's not just whole hearts and half hearts, it's a little bit less than that. And Zelda's yelling at me because I'm taking too long to go rescue. So this is something cool the game does, but we can actually continue on. Yeah, so if you get lost in A Link to the Past for too long, the game will kind of send you another message. Like Zelda's like, hey, go here in case you forgot, give you more precise directions. So the game really funnels you into the start here to make sure you don't get lost. If you go like not straight here, you'll run into guards, and the guards, instead of like doing nothing, they'll tell you about the game. Like, oh, did you know you could do this? Do you know you can do that? So it's a really cool opening sequence of the game, but we're going to break the heck out of this. So right now it all looks normal, and that's because it is. Every single speedrun starts, but we're already going to be taking a detour here because we need some magic. And this is the only points in the early game where we're going to get magic. because we're not supposed to have magic using items outside of the lamp for quite a long time. So there's not too many pots and stuff to pick up.
Okay.
Anyway, we're making our way into Hyrule Castle. And again, this is just a very, very nice casual pace run. We're not trying to go super fast. This is kind of like edutainment, I will say. And we're going to do something called Exploration Glitch. And I pulled myself here because I want to show how this works. An Exploration Glitch is a way to essentially get underneath the world and freely move around the game. And there are a couple ways of activating that state. First, I want to show you what layers are, right? So I have this nice little presentation here to show you. So I'm on the red layer here. You can think of that like the top layer, layer 2. And then the blue layer is where we came from. That's like the lower layer. So stuff exists on both, and you're not supposed to be able to get between them except for at designated spots. So in order to go between layers, I have these little green lines that you see on the screen. So that's something that you can use to transition between one layer and the other. Makes sense, right? Got it? Everybody good? So I go through one of those lines. I'm transitioning from layer 2 to layer 1. I go up the stairs. The game is moving me between the layers, okay? And normally, the only way you can go between these is by going through one of these things, like jumping off a ledge or jumping downstairs or going upstairs. That's how you transition layers. So what we're going to do is jump off, and we're going to interrupt it by saving and quitting. So what this does is the game is in the middle of a layer transition from 2 to 1, from the top level to the bottom one. And it stores that in memory. So it's saying, okay, a layer transition is happening. We call this arming the exploration glitch. We set the initial conditions so we can activate it at a later time. So that's sitting in memory somewhere. The game saved that happened, and we're going to take a hit in order to activate it. There's a variety of things you can do to cause it to resume the layer transition, and the way we're going to activate it is by getting hit from a specific spot. So again, we're on layer 2 here.
Right.
And down here below me, there is no layer 1. It doesn't exist. So what happens if we get hit? It tries to do the layer transition, but there's nothing under me, so it sends me down here, and now we're out of bounds. And we can just like go around.
Do it?
Yeah, I already did it.
You still have the other layer up.
Wait, do I not have the right thing up? Hang on. Oh, I think I understand what's going on.
Still the picture up. There we go. Okay, we don't know what's going on.
I'm going to load this so Fu could actually see it. Sorry, everybody. So what I'm seeing and what you're seeing is not exactly what Fu is seeing. So I'll do this again. But everybody watching should have been able to see that.
Yeah, I saw the blue and red image. So I'm trying to like figure out if there's a way that I can phrase this back to you. I also want to know, do you have to be aware of like specific frames when you're doing the save and quit? Nope.
As long as you're in that animation, it works. It's just that simple. It's very easy. Anybody can do this and get out of bounds that way. But what's happening is you're activating a layer transition from a spot that the game doesn't expect you to activate a layer transition. So it throws you under the floor, essentially. So that's what's going on.
Okay.
Now, that's the slow way of doing it. And there is another way to do this. That's going out of bounds. So you know how I put that thing on there, the red and blue thing showing layers? Well, that's the part of the layer you're supposed to access. But you can actually, by getting out of bounds, be on parts of the layer you're not supposed to. So I have another thing here to illustrate. There we go. So this is where we're at right now. And the only way to activate a layer transition by the game itself is to go down these stairs. That's how you go from 2 to 1, top to bottom. But if I show the collision, and anybody watching this is not a pixel perfect representation of the collision. I want to get that out there right now. This is just a rough image of what the collision looks like. So this is normally these red blocks stopping Link from moving. But if you notice, right next to the green line, there's like a gap at the corner of the collision. So you can see probably where I'm going with this, right? So if I manage to squeeze myself through there and make sure Link shows up right there. So that's where we're going to be trying to reach. Then we'll be on layer 2, but outside of the bounds of layer 2, and we can get around. Okay. So we're going to try and do this. This saves about 20 seconds over doing it the regular way. And this is very difficult. I'm going to be utilizing save states here in order to do it because I am bad at this. The top runners of this category, like Hotarubi, Glan, Yuzuhara, they can do this like it's nothing. I have a very tough time doing frame perfect down left inputs, which is what you need to do. So that was one right there. And we're slowly but surely, one pixel at a time, going to be moving through this collision. And I messed it up. It may take me a little bit to get this, but I think it's important to illustrate how difficult this is.
Right. Yeah, and that's okay. Like, just going through it, like, seeing how this works. This is what the show's all about anyway, so it's no problem.
Yeah, so
somebody wanted to know...
Yep, go ahead.
But whenever you have time for a question.
Yeah, I have time right now while I'm doing this. It could take me a while to get through.
No worries. Somebody wanted to know, do you know how they found out about the game continuing the layer transition when you get hit? Like, what...
Mostly either accidentally or the game has been like decompiled, so people essentially can look at the code and see how the game's run and discover things from that.
Right. I would say especially like Zelda games and anything else that's like large enough or old enough is most likely to have like be so broken apart by
Okay, one more.
people in the community that they're able to like have the tools to get back there and see, you like get into the game code and like and figure some of this out that way. Otherwise, yeah, it's usually like somebody does an accident and then the glitch community is like, show me that, and they try to replicate it.
Anyway, so we made it past the thing. So we're still on layer 2, like where that blue guard is. We're still on that layer. But
technically,
we're out of bounds, so it looks like we're going on the other layer, but like these guards don't see me because I'm technically still above them. So I'm not out of bounds yet, but I can get out of bounds by activating a layer transition from the wrong direction. So you know these little ledge hops that you can do to get from layer 1 to 2? Well, what if you do that, except instead of going inbounds, you go out of bounds? And it just dumps you out of bounds like that. And now we can continue on with the run. So what this is called exploration glitch. So you're getting on a layer the player isn't supposed to be by accessing layers in an unintended way from an unintended spot.
What did you just do?
When I dropped down?
Yeah, you dropped down on purpose, and then did it move you over like that?
Okay. Oh, yeah. I should explain what's going on there. So that's the void over there on the right. And I talked about like arming exploration glitch, right? With the drop down. This works the same way. When you jump into a void, which is an area you're not supposed to reach in normal gameplay, the game saves that as a layer transition as well. So essentially what we're doing is we get out of bounds and we're rearming the exploration glitch to activate later by taking damage to get back in. Now, exploration glitch has a couple caveats. We can move around wherever we want, but anytime you go into this state, you need a way out because you can't interact with things. And one of the ways out is a staircase. So if you activate a staircase, you can enter that from any layer and it puts you back in bounds like so. The camera's a little bit wonky, but that's one way to get out of exploration glitch. And that's very important. For later, we're going to be showing a number of ways to get inbounds from out of bounds. So anyway, we're at the guard, and we need to be careful not to take damage, because remember, when we take damage, it activates that layer transition wherever we're at.
Anytime you take damage.
Anytime I take damage. Yeah, that causes the game to run a routine that does it. So we have to be very careful not to take damage.
How do you get rid of the storage for that so it stops doing that?
You take damage.
Okay, but I thought you didn't. I thought you had already like used it up.
We used it, but we have Zelda here. There's a faster way to get over there. So we're going to take damage here, and now we're back in the EG state underneath the world.
But I thought you'd already taken damage. That's what I'm like wondering how you got.
Well, we remember that jumping into the void. That basically rearmed it, so I can do it again.
Oh, that's what you meant. Got it. Okay, I'm there. I'm back.
So now we're underneath the world again, and we have to eventually, at some point, get inbounds again. One way to do it is you have these rooms that have like high walls, essentially, and you could jump on those from any layer, and it'll put you inbounds. So we kind of want to avoid those when we don't want to jump in. And
right.
Hey, there's Tower of Hera, by the way. Oops. I'll explain more about this momentarily, but currently we're trying to escape and rescue Princess Zelda. So I know where I'm going, and again, I'll explain more of this momentarily, I promise. So I'm just holding like upright.
To the center of the room?
Yeah, I'm rocking around
underneath.
I'm still underneath everything. And here we are. We found the sanctuary. We entered it. Zelda's being rescued. I'm going to go through this, but I'm going to prep something else for you to see. One moment while this cutscene's going on. All right, so the next thing we need to get is the Cane of Samaria. And I talked about exploration glitch and how we're moving around. And the reason this works is because every single dungeon is on the same map. So this is a 16 by 16 grid. We call this the EG map of locations. So if you look really closely on this, you could maybe see some rooms you recognize, some rooms you don't recognize. A lot of them are just placeholders that were never actually used, but they're still in the map. And these are all connected to each other. So whenever you go into a dungeon or what we call the underworld, you enter this map somewhere. And normally you're not supposed to be able to move around, right? But we've shown that we could definitely move around. Anyway, right now we are here. That is the sanctuary. So we're up there, and our goal right now is to get the Cane of Samaria. The Cane of Samaria is down here. Way the heck down here. That's Misery Meyer. So those are the tiles. Now, normally you think, okay, we just go down 15 tiles and then right one, and we're there. But there's a faster way to do it because this wraps around. If you go up, you wrap around, and this is a much faster way to do it. So that is exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to go up and slide it to the right into that room.
That's awesome.
Now, the reason we're going into that room is because, one, it is right next to Misery Meyer, which has the Cane of Samaria, which is where we need to go.
Which boss is that?
That is, let's see, Vitreous, which is the giant eyeball with a whole bunch of little tiny eyeballs next to him. I know, not very descriptive, given that there are so many bosses in A Link to the Past with eyeballs, right?
Right.
Anyway, I mentioned how once you get into EG, you have to find an exit. Otherwise, you can't do anything. And one of those exits is when you're in a layer with high walls, and you could just jump in like that. That's simple.
Yep.
But you can't do that everywhere. Not all rooms you can do it in. So that puts us in, and we're going to the big chest. We don't have the Misery Meyer big key, do we? We never went into this dungeon. But if I pause, I still have the big key from Hyrule Castle, right? That we got after defeating that ball and chain guard. So the game thinks we're in Hyrule Castle still, and it checks, oh, you're opening up a big chest. You have a big key in your inventory, right? We sure do. So we can just open it up like it's nothing, and we got the Cane of Samaria.
That's awesome.
So that's what's going on there, all right?
Yes,
Any questions? Any questions? I got some time here.
Oh, sorry. Phant should be going over the recently discovered, over some of the changes that have happened in the last year.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're already seeing a lot of it with the Cane of Samaria soon, but it's largely to do with Ancilla Overload, which I'm sure we'll learn about. Is quite magic. Yeah, we'll learn about it. We'll learn about it. Okay. So I'm going to be doing something here called the citrus clip. I don't know why it's called citrus. I'm sure somebody in chat maybe can know. But I'm getting to a very specific X and Y position. And this trick saves like 6 or 7 seconds if you do it perfectly. And it's not easy to do it perfectly.
Right.
But you have to get into a position here. I think I already messed it up. Yeah, so we'll be using a lot of save states to get where we need to go. Okay, that's where I needed to go.
Similar to what you were doing earlier to get into the wall?
It's a little bit similar, right? Yeah. So that's called a downwards teleport, and you could do like an upwards teleport. But what's going on there is anytime you have a diagonal surface, There are ways for Link to clip into it because the Super Nintendo isn't great at handling collisions with angled inputs on angled walls, so you can kind of like wiggle your way around there. And when you get far enough into a wall from specific spots and you try and move, it doesn't know where to put Link, so it ends up either dropping you down a little bit or moving you up a little bit. And
so with the technique to doing that is it looks like it's similar to what you were doing when you were trying to get between those pixels.
Yeah, doing some sword buffers in order to like move 1 pixel at a time with specific up left inputs, down right inputs. There's a million ways to do this. It's a lot easier when you have the boots because you can do like a boots buffer to move in the correct way.
Okay,
but we don't have the boots yet, so we have to do it this way.
But the reason learn how that works too.
Oh shoot, I messed it up. Oops. Oopsies. All right, hang on, let me get back up there. I forgot where we were at. Anyway, so
there we go.
No, that's not what I want to do. What am I doing here? Okay, so we're dropping here, so you can see a little bit of Link's head here, right? And what this is doing is moving Link below the screen transition. So when I jump right, we're going to be off screen on the bottom, and it's going to cause Link to wrap around from the top because we're not causing a screen transition. So I should do this. And yeah, Link falls from the sky up there. It's okay, Fu. I've got an explanation for what's going on here. So let's go back to my PowerPoint presentation here. We are here on this screen. This is called a super tile. I apologize if this is too much. Sorry, I had the most fun
coming up with all this. So prepared. I love this. This is very helpful.
We're at the very bottom.
Bottom right.
Down here, this yellow square. Okay. So what we did is we bypassed the screen transition. And what that does is it causes you to wrap around up top. Up over there. So we're technically up there. So if I go around, there's like collision here. Here, let me go back to my screen. So there's like collision here that doesn't match what's here. So the camera is locked in place down at the bottom right, but actually Link is at the top of the thing. So if you know what everything is, you can go around and find the stairs to Eastern Palace because we're up there. Also, if I pause the map, it thinks we're down even further. More on that later.
Has no idea where you're at.
Yeah, the game has no idea where it was. But the important thing is we can get into Eastern Palace.
Is that door usually supposed to be closed to this palace? But
no, this one's always open. You're thinking of Palace of Darkness, which is the Dark World equivalent of this.
Oh, okay.
And that one is usually closed, yes.
Gotcha.
Anyway, so we're going to do something very similar here, except in a dungeon. This is called a Samaria juke, or door juke. And this is a little bit precise. I think that's good. Okay, so what we're doing is using the Cane of Samaria in order to push ourselves past the load transition in the door. And the same concept applies here, where we're going to go down, and then it's going to loop us around up top, do like a screen scroll type of thing, and put us at the top of the screen, which we can use to bypass part of the dungeon. So with any luck, as soon as I throw this, I should be able to do that. And there we are.
But this won't take you into another... Oh, it does kind of take you into another room. Okay.
It does. Sure and it's like, there we are, right there. Hello.
Right. Hi.
And it really messes with the camera here. So we're actually up top, and like it doesn't know what to do with the collision. And we collect the big key to Eastern Palace. So that's definitely the big key to Eastern Palace. But you see, because we did that thing, the camera and Link's position are all messed up. So nothing makes sense. But we can go through this door and line it back up. So there you go. We're lined back up. And we need to take a death warp here. The reason is because of that wonky screen scroll, or there's hidden invisible enemies there that you can't see. Trust me. Trust me on this one.
And so you, so you wrapped around purposefully and hit invisible enemies on the way in order to do a death warp.
Yeah, because you're actually stuck in that room. The way that screen scroll works, it kind of messes up further transitions. So when you go through a door, everything's broken. So you're in like an endless loop, stuck and nowhere to go. Anyway, you know that frame perfect series of inputs I showed you earlier on to get through a rail? To activate out of bounds, do the...
opposite of what you're doing now.
Yeah, kind of like from the opposite direction. So with the Cane of Samaria, that suddenly becomes very easy. You just get in a specific position. Oh, oops.
And having the block place is going to help get you in that corner.
Yep, it kind of like pushes you through. So now we're
easier.
out of bounds again on layer 2, but we can't jump off these. We're inside. So we need to activate another layer transition, right, in order to go out of bounds to enter exploration glitch. Luckily, stairs do the same thing. So we're on layer 2, the second level, and we're going to activate the stairs from the wrong direction, and we're going to go up them again, but this time we're above everything, right? So we're once again out of bounds. Yep, exactly. So that's how we entered out of bounds there. And conveniently in Eastern Palace, there's a double high wall here we can use to jump right back in bounds. So that bypasses the dungeon essentially, and we got our big key earlier, and here's our bow.
Oh, right, you got the big key. Oh my gosh.
Now, this next part may blow your minds, but we're going to beat this dungeon the regular way. So I'm just going to be going through regular Eastern Palace here. And if you have any questions at all or anything else I can hopefully try and explain better, better? Yeah, that's the way, that's the word.
So
please let me know.
We're at question time. Okay. So
you got everything so far, Fu, right? Everything making sense?
Can we go up to layer 3 with the stairs? Yeah, that basically happened, seems like. Somebody is hoping you'll show what happens when you break a screen wrap.
When I break a screen wrap.
Is there another way to phrase that?
I'm trying to think. Are you talking about getting myself soft locked in an infinite scroll? If so, I can demonstrate that at the end of the run.
Yeah. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, so you have to be very careful in these states because if you do inputs the wrong way, you're in a portion of the game doesn't expect you to be. So you need to tread carefully, otherwise you can break it.
How easy is it to accidentally get like out of bounds in a soft locking way?
In a soft locking way, very easy.
Okay, so you have to be really careful about where exactly you're going.
Yeah, but if you follow the route and you understand what's going on, you're fine. For example, in the EG map, so that's that big, huge 16 by 16 map of the entire game that I showed off earlier. I'm not going to go into detail on it, but there are certain rooms that if you enter them, they will soft lock your game or hard lock your game.
What number dungeon did you just complete?
That was dungeon number 1.
Oh, okay.
That's actually the first dungeon you're supposed to beat. And the reason we beat that is because we need the boots, because the boots go fast and just make things way easier.
And I have a bow and arrow, but the wand or the wand or staff, I forget what
the Cane of Samaria, yeah.
Cane, thank you.
The Cane of Samaria, the magic cane. It is so broken, we love it.
Right, I was gonna say it seems like you needed that first because it helps with like breaking yourself out of bounds a lot easier.
The Cane of Samaria is the single most broken item in this game. It allows for pretty much all this stuff to be possible. And Fu, we have not even gotten started yet on how broken the cane is. Like, it just keeps on getting deeper and deeper and deeper. One of those is coming up in a couple minutes here, as we are going to be buying some bombs. So the world record speedrun of this only picks up 3 bombs, but I'm getting 10. Because I'm not going to be perfect. And worst case, we're playing with the practice deck. I can just give myself more bombs, more health, all that good stuff. So don't worry about it. Again, this is some infotainments here for everybody. We are doing a slow piece by piece breakdown of Link to the Past, all dungeons, major glitches. And now something very, very interesting is going to happen. This is like our first, this is something weird that's going to happen. So we're going to do something called Samaria Transition Corruption. It's called an STC. And we're going to be getting into this wall like we did before.
Same way you did earlier.
So the way this works is whenever you pick up a block and you move up or down, the game wants to snap you to coordinates in multiples of 8. That's just a property of the door. And we use that to get into a position that bypasses the loading. We're snapping past it, essentially. Hey, I need it here. Okay, there we go. We got it. So if you see on the top right, I'm on coordinate B10. That's my Y coordinate B10. So that's the magic coordinate. And now pay close attention to what's going to happen here. So I'm going to save state just in case I mess it up. So I'm going to throw the block down. And I'm going to press tap. You see the screen blink there? Blinked once, and it blinked again. Okay? Remember those guards that were over here? They're gone. Huh. That's kind of weird, right?
Uh-huh.
And I opened this up, and I got a big key to something. Also, what the heck? How did that happen?
And it doesn't show anything.
Yeah, and also, for some reason, there's a hole over here. And if I fall down this hole, I end up in this room. More on this later. I'm not going to go into detail on that right now. So a lot of weird stuff just happened, right? So here is essentially what's going on here. So I made a special zoomed-in portion of the EG map of where we're currently at. So we are located here on the bottom, okay? And the game thinks we are located here. The yellow box represents like the room that the game says we're in, and well, my face represents where we're actually at. So normally when you're moving around, these are coupled together, like so. Mm-hmm. Now, what I did was I got past the load transition, and remember those little screen blinks you saw? I did that twice. So what that did is it caused the next room up, super tile up. So really quick on super tiles. So right here, it's a 3x3 grid of super tiles.
Like
one super tile is 4 small rooms. So if you look at the bottom right, you can see there's 2 small rooms, 1 long room. So those are like subtiles. So the big ones are super tiles. Anyway, so by getting past the load transition and moving up, it caused the game to load the next room up. But it didn't actually relocate me here because we didn't activate the screen transition. So the game is now reading data from here. And we did that twice. And up here, that's Swamp Palace. And in that chest is a big key. Okay? Are you seeing where we're going, Fu? So what we did...
I'm going to get a little clarification. So we are in these... This is a cut... Like, this is like a zoomed in version of the map. This is a zoomed in of the map. Earlier.
This isn't the full bounds. This is just the relevant magic that's happening right now.
Yes, because if you zoomed out, it would be the map you showed earlier with all of the rooms and all of the
16 by 16. It's huge. This is only what we're looking at here.
For those who missed it, it seems that all of the dungeons in the game are technically on like the same big map. So if you move enough rooms over, you can just go from dungeon to dungeon to dungeon. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so what's going on is we just spoofed the data of this room. So it loaded all the flags and data from the room 2 rooms above me, 2 super tiles above me, highlighted in yellow here. And up from there, so these are the 2 rooms we're at right now. Yes. And right there is a chest containing the big key to Swamp Palace. And what happened was it loaded that data into the chest of the room I'm in. So I opened that up, and it gave me the big key to Tower of Hera. Now, you may be saying, why did that give me the big key to Tower of Hera? And I'll explain it on my way up to Tower of Hera.
Especially if it was supposed to be in
It was supposed to be the swamp. It was supposed to be the swamp big key. So that has to do with something called the cave state. So I entered that room from a cave. I didn't go in there from a dungeon. So it's not just dungeons on that map. It's caves as well that are there. And normally in caves, you're not supposed to get big keys. You're not supposed to get any kind of keys. So when you collect a key and you're in the cave state, the game thinks you're in a cave, it kind of doesn't know what to give you. So that's why it kind of gave me the big key text, and it didn't actually give me an item. So what it does is it gives you a whole bunch of stuff because it's kind of freaking out. And I just overshot this where I'm actually supposed to be because I'm too busy talking. So it gave us actually the Desert Palace big key. It gave us the Tower of Hera big key, both of which we're going to need in a little bit. But it didn't actually give us the Swamp Palace big key. But we don't need the Swamp Palace big key. Where we're going, we don't need to worry about it. Anyway, see the boots? They're so nice. They allow you to do that. And I messed it up. Wonderful. So we're calling, this is called Death Mountain Descent. So remember how angled walls are really weird
Yes.
and allow you to get out of bounds and do a teleport up and down? What I'm doing right now is activating a state called spin speed. So I have boots, and if I release my spin attack and press boots at the same time, I have what's called spin speed. Now I can't activate my sword. You see on the top indicator, I'm pressing B for my sword. Nothing's happening. And if I go on a ramp, I move really fast.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, so that's all fine. But when you're in this state, Link kind of just phases through collision, for lack of a better term, because you're not supposed to be able to do this. So we do this from a very specific spot, and it moves us into the wall and causes us to teleport up the screen. So we'll do it again, get into that, and I messed it up. God. I promise I'll get this. I had it.
No. I'm like comprehending it as you do it. So
Okay, so that moves us up here, and we're going to do another.
You don't jump all the way up.
Yeah, so we're going to do another screen wrap. Remember like what we did over at Eastern Palace, getting into the wall?
Yes.
So we're going to do the exact same thing, and you can't see us, but we're up top. Right there. There we are.
Oh, yeah.
There we are. Whee! So we're technically up on Death Mountain, so like the little red squares up there. And this allows us to activate an entrance from where we're not supposed to. And we open it. And we are now in the cave that takes us up Death Mountain. So pretty fancy, right?
Oh, my God.
So that's called Death Mountain Ascent. It's used in a whole bunch of different runs. And there's a whole bunch of different ways to do it, depending on your loadout. But the moral of the story here is, whenever you have a diagonal surface in this game, you can go through it. You can go through it with enough effort.
That's awesome.
So we're going to be doing some more of that, more of the screen wrapping. So remember, that happens by we bypass the transition, causes us to scroll to the top of whatever tile we're at, and we separate the camera from Link's actual position. And as long as we know where we're going, we can get into places. So we're going to use that trick again here to get to the Tower of Hera. So you'll see this screen moving around left and right, and I'm just going to refill my HP here. So this screen goes all the way up to Tower of Hera, which is the castle on the top where the red pendant is. So we could do something similar. Look at all these beautiful diagonal walls, Food. Oh, they're so pretty.
There's so many.
So we're going to use a specific one, and we could just go right on off, and that wraps us right up to Tower of Hera on top.
Oh, you went down for it instead of up.
Mm-hmm. So remember, it wraps us around the screen, right? Isn't this run wild?
It's great. This is why I love Zelda
All right,
games
and we see this here. No, look again. Spoilers. It's another diagonal wall. You think that's going to contain us? Absolutely not. But we're here. We got the big key to Tower of Hera. See, I paused my menu. That was what we opened up earlier. So it's in our inventory. Wonderful. Now we're going to use that big key to get us the hook shot.
Can you skip the pendants and get the Master Sword? Question.
You absolutely can. We will be getting something better than the Master Sword without getting the Master Sword. Just you wait. Ooh. Just you wait.
Okay. Well, again, this is an all dungeons run, so.
All right. So we're out of bounds again. Again, just take my word for it. We're going through the collision on angles. But look at this. We're going into a room here, and suddenly we're back inside. I didn't go through a transition. I didn't go up and down stairs. We're just back inside. And the reason that is the case is because we are in a very special room. This special room, if we go over here, is a movable wall room. So in this game, we're in Misery Meyer now, you're supposed to light these 4 torches here, and it will cause the room to the right to move. So when that room isn't moved, whenever you enter here from any state, it puts you back inbounds. Okay?
Oh, okay.
And this room has a very special thing. But first, let me go back to my PowerPoint presentation, because we're going to be doing some wild stuff here again.
Wait, are we not in the Tower of Hera anymore?
Well, we entered from Tower of Hera, but we're now in the tile set of Misery Meyer. So here, I got a fancy little chart here of another segments of the underworld map. So we started here, okay?
Right.
And then we just moved down 2 rooms. Yeah. Yeah, this is how we have it. So our goal is to get up here to the top left. That's Swamp Palace. That's the room where the hook shot is. We can't enter that room from EG. We have to enter that from inbounds. Conveniently for us, next to that. There's a magical room here called the Meyer Ballroom, Movable Wall Room, right down here. So that's where we're at right now. So our goal is to get down here, which we have already done, and I'm going to do the next step here. So I mess this up all the time, so hopefully I don't accidentally break the game. It does have a high probability of breaking, at least on this version. So we're getting up in the screen. And look at the screen, Fu. Here we go. 1, 2. So we did the same thing again. So now we have loaded the room here. So we have loaded the Tower of Hera room. All right. Now, this is a very special room because in this room specifically, we can face left and right in these doors. The doors work differently. And we could place multiple Samaria blocks in here. So I don't know if you heard that, but I placed another one. And this allows us to do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times we've done that. So now, if I go back over here, we have loaded this room all the way up here, okay? So we're getting pretty close to this room, right? So now there's only one more thing to do, and that is break through the wall to transition down and left to get into the room that we require. So one more aspect of loading these rooms is that it also sets the transition flags to be different for that room. So right now, even though I'm in the bottom room, the game flags are set up as if I'm in the top room. So when I transition off that screen, it's going to load the screen left, right, down, or up from that spot 7 tiles above me. So we can use that. So when we go through this wall, which we're going to do another clip through a glorious diagonal surface too. we can't get enough of those. It's going to drop us not below where this room should be on the EG map, but 7 rooms up below that room, okay?
Right.
All right, so... Oh, shoot, I broke this. I broke it. I'm sorry.
Map's still up.
I may have actually broken this with save states, in which case I'll have to go repair something.
Okay, well, the map is still up, so we can't see it.
Oh, yeah. Oops. Hello. There we go. All right, we're back.
Got you. No worries, we didn't see anything.
4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so we're down here. I think we're good. Okay, so we're getting in a very specific spot, and I think we're set. So we're going to be doing some stuff. This is also something I'm very bad at. The top runners do this like it's nothing. All right, but we're supposed to get into this position here, and we're going to start a dash. And I can go over like, pixel perfect movements of why this is working, but we're just manipulating ourselves to go through the collision in the wall by just carefully strutting around it. So anyway, I'm going to start up a dash.
When you hear about enough glitch stuff like we have on the show, when they talk about collision, you're like, oh yes. You don't have to explain. But if you all need some help.
Okay, so I've positioned myself a little bit in. So I need to move up right once. So now I should do a downward teleport into the next room. So it's going to take me into the next room, and I'll be inbounds if I did this right. So there we go. So we're still inbounds, except we're in the room we need to be because we manipulated the game to load us over here.
Yes.
And because we have the big key to Tower of Hera, the game thinks we're in Tower of Hera. That gives us the hook shot.
And there we go. Now we're back completely inbounds.
Yeah, we're inbounds, and the game's acting funky again because we entered in a way we weren't supposed to. Like, this is giving me a super tile transition instead of a regular transition. So we're back in Hera, and I can open this up, and we got the Moon Pearl. Moon Pearl acquired.
Oh, okay.
So that's another, just the camera's desynced from my actual position.
Wait, how did you get back to did you save and quit?
I mirrored. So if you're in a dungeon, if you press the mirror, it warps you to your entry point.
The mirror. I forgot about these items. Okay.
Yep. So that's all it is. Now we're going to do the same exact thing. And I need to torch up 3 times. And I'll have an explanation for this later. We're going to have to go into something deep here.
Okay, please do.
So we are up here. I need to go left, and then up. Then we go out of bounds again. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is Skullwoods. Skullwoods is the third Dark World dungeon.
Okay.
And to get there, we're going to EG.
Yeah, if you mirrored, puts you back in bounds, I assume.
It does. It does.
Okay.
Anyway, some weird stuff is going to happen. I have to explain how the hook shot works. So let's see if I can get up to where we are. Where are we? There we are. Hello. We're underneath the world. So I'm going to turn on a HUD extra called Super Watch for Ancilla. So this is going to take a little bit to explain. Please bear with me. On the left, you will see 10 rows of numbers that are in dark gray and yellow. And those are what we call the Ancilla slots. And they go from 0 to 9. That's just what we've named them. They don't correspond to any particular thing or why we named them. This is just purely for speedrunner convenience is why we call these things. Anyway, so what these do is whenever Link uses an item, and let me just make a save state here, it fills up. So see right there, I just put down a Samaria block and it filled slot number 4. So we're going to refer to these as slots. So you can see there, slot number 4, 2C. What that is that's just an ID in hexadecimal, essentially, representing the Cane of Samaria block. So if I put one of those down, it fills that in, and this is how the game handles like items that Link is placing on the ground. So that's 2C. Whenever I explode this block, it creates 4 little shooting star type things, shooting beams. So those have ID 01. You can see it fills up 4 slots because there's 4 of them on screen. Now, if I put down a bomb, that's 07. So the number is just how the game has these in a list. Think it's like a table. Think of like Excel. You got columns A through D or something, A through Z. That's all this is. That's all that's going on here. It's just an index telling you what an item is. I shoot an arrow, 09. There it is. That's for arrow. So there's a whole bunch of different things. There's a lamp, 2F. Anyway, so what we're going to be doing here is something called Ancilla Overload. So normally, the game is going to put important items in slots 0 through 4, okay? So you saw whenever I was placing stuff down, it wanted to go there. So the hook shot works very interestingly. So whenever I use a hook shot, it's going to create 1F, that's for the hook shot. And you see the number next to it on slot 4 there. It's counting up, and then it's counting down. So as it's extending, it counts up, and then as it's retracting, it's counting down. And whenever you attach onto something, it saves that position in there, and it counts down. And while it's counting down, it pulls Link towards the location. And as soon as that counter reaches 0, the hookshot stops. Okay?
Also, I love that one enemy that's stuck right. Oh, he was stuck on that chest for a long time.
Anyway, so if I hold my sword out, see those little 3 sparkles? So those are Ancilla that are like not important or something. It's just like graphical effects. So those go down into the bottom slots there, 5 through 9, okay? Now, the important slot here is slot 9. That's the one at the very bottom. And the reason that's important is because where the hook shot reads data from and where it looks when it runs the hook shot subroutine, when you place stuff in slot 9 that's not supposed to be there, it changes the values of that portion of memory and hex things up. So the way we can get there is by something called the search index. So this number right here, 0D, that is, let's see, it's like 10, it's like 13 or 14 if you convert it to decimal. But it's a number greater than 9. So what happens is when I fill up slots 0 through 4 with stuff, the game is basically out of locations to put things. So it's going to start replacing things in order to, prioritize things that should be important. So it's going to look for a particle ancilla, which is something like a graphic for a sparkle here. And you can see those 3 C's there. That's considered a particle. So that's just a graphical flavor. It doesn't actually do anything other than, provide visual flair. So it's like, the game's like, oh, that's not important. So we're going to see if any of those exist. If they do, we're going to overwrite it with the item that you just placed. Now, the search index, again, this number up here, that tells the game where to look, where to start looking, which slot to start looking for. And if you have that number larger than 9, 9 is going to be the first thing it comes up on. So what we're going to do is load up 0 through 4 with a bunch of stuff, and then we're going to place a bomb, and it's going to want to replace one of those 3 C's there.
Okay.
And put it in there. What that does is it adds in a value to the hookshot and the memory that the hookshot looks at that causes it to interact with the opposite layer. And the opposite layer that we're on is inbounds, and that's how we're going to get inbounds, Fu. So
it's still really weird to understand because I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
But that was a good way to put it at the end. Like, you're messing with all these numbers.
Yeah, so see, I put down the Samaria block, okay? So I'm going to blow it up, put out my sword to get the sword sparkle, so it wants to replace that. I'm going to make dash. So see if I dash, that's a particle too. See at 1E, that's the dash animation. It loads in. It has a value there.
Right.
So we're just going to fill this up with a whole bunch of crap, and then we're going to put a bomb down. Let's give it a shot.
And then use your hook shot to get you back in bounds.
Okay, so see now, I'm going to pause there. There's a 0-7 in slot 9. So now the hook shot's going to behave differently, and it can interact with stuff on the layer I'm not on, and we're back in bounds.
So weird. That's so strange.
So there's a lot going on there, and we got the fire rod. So, yeah. Because we're still in Tower of Hera, remember? Don't let that fool you. Now, what happens when we exit out of here? We're in Dark World. But we're kind of not. See, it's playing the Light World music. It's all like nice and happy. So that entrance is normally right there. So there's no warps going on here. Once we're in bounds, we just went out of that entrance and it took us to where that door normally goes, which is in the Dark World.
Right.
But because we entered from the Light World, we're in a state that's called fake Dark World, essentially. So there's a variable in this game, a slot in memory, that tells the game what world Link is in, okay? Light World or Dark World. Think of it like, 0 is in Light World, 1 is in Dark World. So because we entered this from Light World, the world variable is still set to Light World. But we're in Dark World, right? Because we exited and got here via an unintended way. So if I were to transition off this screen, the game would load in the tile below it, but because the world variable is set to Light World, I'd be in Light World, okay? So we're going to fix that by mirroring, which puts us back in Dark World. So now we're in real Dark World. But we do the mirror there because whenever you mirror, you get iframes, invincibility frames, and that causes us to be able to walk through enemies. Anyway, the way we set that search index to be greater than 9 is by using the lamp 3 times in either the up direction, left direction, or down direction. It's like there's 0A, that way's 10, that way's 0D. We don't do it to the right because that sets it to 7, which is too low. So we need to be in 9 because the 9 is what the magic slot, that hook shot, is impacted by. So I'm gonna fill up my magic here just because I'm doing this demo. So there are ways to refill your magic conveniently, but we're not gonna do it that way.
Right.
Anyway,
okay.
So we're gonna do out of bounds here again, exactly the same way we did in Eastern Palace. We're gonna use the Samaria block to wedge ourselves through. And then I go up these stairs and I should be out of bounds, right, Fu? That's exactly what happens. Exact same tech as before. And again, we need to figure out our way inbounds because that's always the question. Whenever you EG, how are you going to get back? And this is another special case room. So we're going to be going into Mothula. Let me scroll the screen over. And Mothula has a room with moving conveyors. And any room that has a moving conveyor also automatically kicks you back inbounds. Here, let's see. I'm going to put a save state here. Just so I don't have to worry about the wall master. I'm going to explain, again, something very, very crucial before we go into Mothula about another thing that happens when you mislot things. So this whole aspect of getting something into slot 9, that's called mislotting, and it causes the game code to run differently because it's messing with memory values that subroutines load. So what we did last time was put a bomb there. And the bomb set some value that's normally 0 to something not 0. And that caused the hook shot to read that as a different layer and hook shot back in bounds, essentially. So what we're going to be doing next is a Cane of Samaria in block 9. I'm going to bring out my little pointer here again to explain what's going on. So I mentioned before how hookshot works, where it extends out and then it extends back. So whenever...
We still need the...
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Need the other numbers up?
The numbers on the left?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I can get rid of those. Anyway, you know what the slots are. Thank you. That's a lot cleaner. So whenever hookshot latches onto something, a couple things happen. So I don't quite have it in here. But anyway, just take my word for this. So say instead of hitting a wall, it grabs something that could be pullable, that will pull you to it, okay? So what that does is it sets a whole bunch of memory values. It sets the position Link was facing. So say I'm facing right. It sets a duration for how far the hookshot was. It sets the X coordinate and Y coordinate of where it hit. And then it also sets a value of which ancilla slot it used. So if I hookshot normally with nothing on screen, that's slot 4. If I dash and fill that up, it goes to slot 3. If I put a cane down and I dash, or hang on, let me do this. I put a cane down and then I dash, it's now in slot 2. See how it's moving along?
Oh, yeah.
So whenever that is used, the game needs to know where to look for all those values that it's set. Now, the memory address that stores which slot to look at, well, we can manipulate that, Fu. We can change which slot it's looking at.
Of course
and we do that by putting a Samaria block in slot 9. So what that does is it causes the value that is set, so like that block. So think of it like just, it's a cell on a spreadsheet somewhere, right? And it's normally not only supposed to be accessible by the hookshot whenever you use that. So when you have the Samaria there, whatever routine the Samaria is running causes that block that the hookshot's looking at to decrement by 1 every single frame. So it's going to start initially, I'm going to hook onto something, and we will have a match, basically. It'll say, I'm doing this from slot 4, and it says slot 4. The very next frame, it's going to tell the hookshot, hey, you should be looking at slot 3. And then it's going to, the next frame, you should be looking at slot 2, and then slot 1, and then slot 0. And so what it does is it causes, whenever you hit something, because you know how the hookshot's decrementing by 1 every frame, right? So it's counting up and counting down. It'll count down by 1 for 1 frame, and then it'll move on to the next slot, and then count down that 1 frame, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, until it gets to slot 0. We'll resume and count down until it hits 0, that value, and then the hookshot stops. Okay? So keep that in mind. So we're going to be messing that up by misslotting a block. So we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to be overloading everything. Okay, so we got a block. You can see that 2C in slot 9, so that means it was successful. So now we need to beat Mothula. And this is Fighter Sword Mothula. It sucks. I'm going to be refilling my HP like the bad player I am in order to do this. But importantly, very importantly, yeah, we're here to see how it works.
We're not being perfect. It's okay.
Mothula's room is very special. So I didn't give you all this info about hookshot for no reason. Let me...
What? Why not?
Yeah, so hopefully that kind of makes sense. Anyway, so we're manipulating which slot is being looked at for the hookshot's data. So we can see that here. I just picked up a heart container. So you see slot 29 there. And the sparkles from the crystal, you're only getting 2 of them because one slot is being filled by the Cane of Samaria. So you only see 2 sparkles instead of 3. But you can see them going on there. So that's the same type of concept, though. Ooh. So whenever I hookshot, it's going to decrement the slot by 1 every frame. And when it hits a 0, it's going to stop. So see how I only go for like 1 frame?
Oh.
Right?
Oh my gosh, and the crystal.
But look at the value on slot, let's see, that's 0, 1, 2, 3. It's 29, and then the yellow number is 1B. Now it's going to go to 1A. Because, you know, every frame it's changing it, and so it can only decrement the counter by 1 every time. That ID is the prize that is going to be loaded in whenever I collect the crystal. So we're getting that to a very specific value. So there's a whole table. I can get the mirror from this. I can get ice rod, fire rod, any number of items. But there's one very, very important item. And that is the butter sword.
Oh my god!
So we use that property of the hookshot to decrement a value in a slot that the hookshot isn't supposed to be affecting, because we had that Cane of Samaria corrupting that memory pointer, pointing us to the wrong spot, so we could change what prize we got in the dungeon. All right.
Like you said, the Cane of Samaria is the most broken thing in the game.
It's the most broken thing in the game by far.
I'm learning that.
So I'm just going to do this again.
Any butter for the chat?
Any butter? Anybody like some butter? Anyway, so now we're going to go beat Helmasaur King. So
do you eventually need the crystal or no?
Oh, we do need the crystal. We'll be getting there. Yeah, we need to come back to that crystal later. Anyway, so I'm going to be doing the same thing, and a lot of this is going to be very similar to what we had before. So we're going to be placing. Oh shoot! Gosh dang it! I forgot to save state. We're back here again, so let's do this again one more time.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. I despawned the thing. I need to be careful not to despawn the crystal, so I wait till it's done.
How does it despawn?
I don't quite have the answer for that. I think it's whenever the it's whenever the hook shot completes. So I need to be not too far from, or too, I can't be too close to a wall.
Oh, that's why you keep moving.
Mm-hmm. If I'm too close to the wall, the crystal despawns, because it clears that slot, essentially, saying, oh, we don't need to worry about it anymore. So I'm just going to be very careful here. I'm sorry. Ah, shoot, I did it again.
That's okay. Interesting.
I did it again. Shoot. What's going on here?
It's so weird that it...
Okay, I think we're set.
Yeah, this looks like it'll work well.
Okay, so we set it to 3, get our thing. And because we didn't get a crystal, we don't get the fancy cutscene. Anyway, let me go back in and I'll save state again. So there we go. All right, so we don't have to do that again. Anyway, if you missed it the first time, that's how we get the gold sword. No Master Sword pedestal required. Okay, out of bounds again. So same exact concept. And we're going to use that same thing by putting a bomb in that slot to allow the hook shot to hook us in bounds. And let's just do the... Messed it up. Okay, there we go. So we got that. Now we're dashing over here. Oh, shoot. I've actually went inbounds. Wrong spot.
Oh,
got ahead of myself. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. So we used it in that very specific spot to get us back in bounds. Now I'm going to give myself some more bombs just because I messed up there. Don't worry about it. So you may not know this. This is how I first beat this. You normally use the hammer to take this off, but bombs work just as fine. So 4 bomb hits to Helmasaur destroys the mask. I can actually hit him. There we go.
Oh.
I'm going to save state here in case I mess this up. Remind me if you hold down to go in. Hold down to go in. All right, there we go. We beat Pod, but we didn't beat Podfu. We beat Skullwoods. So the game thinks we're in Skullwoods. So it gave me the Skullwoods crystal, essentially. So this cutscene right here is the one that plays when you beat Skullwoods. Because we entered and beat Helmasaur from Skullwoods, right? So it thinks we're there. But because the boss is Helmasaur King, it'll dump us out in Pod after we're done here.
That's so funny. Okay.
And we're just going through this. Yeah.
So random. Okay.
All right. Hold down, holding down. And we go back in. Okay, because that door is not open. So we need to make sure it's fine.
Oh, that you don't go out all the way and the door would close.
Okay, so we're now going to use another property of the hook shot to go out of bounds. And the important number to look for right now is this red number right here. That's what we call the EG check. So if you hook shot something and then in the hook shot slot that's being used, that number is not 0, it'll put you into EG. So I'm demonstrating this by if I place a block and I shoot a sword beam, you see that number fluctuates around between 0 and 3.
Yes.
So you need to stand in very specific spots. And if you are in a specific spot, the sword beam will set that value to non-zero. So we want that to happen in a specific slot. So we do that by just doing these inputs in a specific order, and we'll make the slot 9 Samaria block here the same way. So do that. So this may take a couple times. Okay, so we got a slot 9 Samaria block. We set the value the hook shot's in right now to a non-zero number. So hopefully when I hook shot this, I go out of bounds. There we go.
Oh my gosh. What?
Yeah, so that's just a variable that I don't know why specifically it causes the layer transition to break, but that's what happens. But that number's not 0. So every slot, again, it has not just the one number. The number you're seeing there, that's like the duration counter. So it means a lot of different things. But that's the one that's mostly important.
Okay, gotcha.
Anyway, we're doing another bomb thing to get in bounds. Let's save state here. Okay, so there we go. I'm just spamming the bomb button to get in. So we can hook shot on this chest, and we've rescued blind. So our goal now is to beat blinds, which is about the halfway point of the run if you're doing it real time. This is very front loaded on explanation. So
that's okay. So, I know it has honestly been a lot to take in.
There's so much going on here. Yeah.
Yes.
Hopefully I'm not boring people too much. I hope this is interesting.
No, it's not at all boring. It's like very, very interesting. Okay. All right. Okay. I gotta ask.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
In that menu, go back to the menu.
Oh, yeah?
What's up with the do?
So that's just the practice act. So they kind of like had fun and did certain things.
Okay. I just didn't know if there was something about that. I just didn't know what was going on. I just needed to know. Okay. So right now.
So right now we're out of bounds again. Same exact concept as before, where we put a block in 9. It causes the hook shot to read from a different spots. And we manipulate that spot to have a value it's not supposed to have. And we make sure that
now that we have the block and the hook shot, we can just go out of bounds whenever.
We can do whatever we want, Fu. The world is our oyster.
Hook shot plus block equals you're just out of bounds.
All right, so I'm trying to line up on a very specific spot here. Okay, there I am. I got running there. There we are. All right, so we still have blinds, but again, we're out of bounds. So hook shot allows us to get back in bounds a lot of the time. So I'm going to position by screen scrolling the scroll, screen scrolling to the left and then right, and that should get me into the right spots.
Yeah, where are we technically considered to be right now?
We're underneath the light box in the middle of the screen, roughly.
No, which area of the game?
Oh, this is Thieves Town. We're in Thieves Town right now, so we could probably take a break after I beat this boss.
Okay.
Oh, I don't have magic.
I just was trying to. We had a question on, like where are we still technically in Palace of Darkness? But I don't. Yeah.
So the game thinks we're in Palace of Darkness, but we're actually in Thieves Town. So we're gonna beat blind here. So we got in bounds with the hook shot. That's called a weird shot, by the way, because it's very weird. But yeah, so now we got to beat blinds, and this is actually very difficult. So. Because normally blind is on a script and you know exactly what's happening. When you land in this direction, it's off screen a little bit and all that.
Oh, yeah. I see. Okay.
So it's harder to hit. I'm just gonna make sure I don't die because I don't want to die.
Right.
I promise I'm not this bad usually.
We're here for explanation. So a lot of times, like when I have people on the show, they will often, because they're in explanation mode, and they do things slower, it doesn't feel as consistent as how they'd usually do it because it's not going as smoothly because of the slowing down, because of the explaining. So they get like really thrown off and they don't always like achieve tricks as consistently as they would, and they're like, oh gosh, I'm just not used to doing it, like this. So
all right, so this is the blind cutscene. After this is done, I say we take a break. I could go get some water.
Yes, I agree. This has been a lot. I could use a quick pop over and getting some water and stuff.
Yeah, thanks to everybody for coming to my PhD thesis.
Yeah, I know, right? So I hope you all have been enjoying this so far. This is a good time for a break because I know we have a lot coming up. And some more pretty heavy explanation. So I'm so glad that everybody's enjoying it. We have more happening in just a moment. And before we all get up and go take a quick stretch break, I would like to let you know that we have all the shows you can watch on the YouTube channel. So if you're watching us live, you can go watch our previous Hotfix shows. You can see other Zelda games I've had on the show or other shows that I've had on games like this. At youtube.com/GamesDoneQuick. Or if you're watching on YouTube, you can come watch us live at twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick. And then our live shows start most nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then I think it's important to mention that GDQ is coming up. So I will be talking about that a bit more at the end of the stream. But really excited that starts January 9th. I'm super pumped because, we do the whole...
It's happening again. I can't believe it.
I know. Oh my gosh, it's coming up so soon. So yeah, just want to remind you of all that. We'll be back in just a minute, just taking a quick stretch break. That's what we do. I want you all to be able to have time to process what you've just seen because it is so wild. It's hard to comprehend. And we're going to have more of that. So get ready for more in just a moment. We'll be right back. And we are back. Thank you so much for waiting. Hope you had a wonderful stretch break. Again, this is That's Never Happened Before. I am Kung Fu Fruit Cup, and I am joined by Phant_TV,
hello,
who's been
hello.
showing off. Hello. He's been showing off a detailed glitch explanation of an all dungeons major glitches run of Zelda: A Link to the Past. So we are in the middle of that. We just beat another boss. We've seen some really wild detailed things about I'm wondering if it's not even quite like memory manipulation, it's like visual information manipulation. There's all those numbers on the left, in the middle left columns that you can see on the screen.
Yeah, I think that helps illustrate the concept a little better. So I know it clutters up the screen a bit, but I think it's important to see. So.
Yeah, honestly, being able to see that, it's great. So yeah, so that's what we're in the middle of, and we are just continuing on with even more now. So if you want to count down so we can get that timer going again, we can get into the rest of this nitty gritty. Like, go for it.
Yeah, sure. On go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Awesome.
So what we've just done is we beat Blind. It dumped us out of the Thieves Town entrance and Village of Outcasts. And we just mirrored, so now we're in Kakariko Village, which is great because we need to get here to get the Ice Rod. And to get there, we're going to go into the witch's hut. So we're going to do the same thing before. We're going to place the Samaria block and mis-slot this to slot 9, like so. And the graphics kind of break when that happens.
Yes.
So you know how I mentioned when a Samaria block is in slot 9, it causes the pointer, whenever you use the hookshot, to decrement by 1 every frame? So like it'll start there, and it'll just decrement 1 until it gets to slot 0, and then it'll just count down from there. So what's going to happen here is we are going to fill up the duration counter in slot 0 to be a relatively large number. So we're talking 10, 20, 30 plus. I think if in decimals, like a 50 number or something like that.
Are you only supposed to put down 1 block at a time?
Yeah. But the way the game checks if it can place a block or not, it only looks at slots 0 through 4. So because that block is in slot 9, it doesn't treat it as a conflict.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Okay. Gosh. So whenever you buy an item, it gives a value attached to it. When I buy these 10 bombs, I think it's like 30 or 20 something. And we want that to be in slot 0 because remember, the thing's counting down every frame. So we want a big number on slot 0 because the larger the number is, the longer the hook shot lasts, right? Because it counts up and counts down. Like, so you understand, bigger number, hook shot's going to last longer and go further. And that's going to help us with a glitch called hook pushing, which is very, very weird. So we're going to manipulate this data. So we have a large number in slot 0. We're going to do that by blowing up this block. That's going to cause slots 1 through 4 to fill up with stuff. We're going to buy the bombs while the 4 beams are on screen. And that's going to put the big value in slot 0. And then we just need to make sure everything else is non-zero. We're going to be doing that with some slashes. So let's just do that really quick. So do that, buy a bomb, slash against the wall, and then slash the bottom. So now we see we got 31 in slot 0, 4 in slot 1, 4 in slot 2, 4C in slot 3, and 6 in slot 5. So remember, the hook shot ends whenever it reaches 0. There's a couple other reasons that I'm not going to go into on other ways the hook shot could end, but if it encounters a 0 number, which whatever index it's looking at, which changes every frame, it will stop your thing. So by making everything else filled with non-zero, it's going to cycle through that and decrement them each by 1 because it's only there for 1 frame. So 4C is going to go to 4B, 04 is going to go to 03, 04 is going to go to 03, and then 31 is going to count down until the screen transitions. So with any luck, if I did this right, you're going to see something weird. So look at that though. 03, 03, 4B, because it went through each of those for 1 frame until it got to slot 0. And this contains the ice rod. So now, Fu, I know you're probably asking the question, and chat's probably asking the question as well. Why did we go right instead of left, right? Why did we go right? And you know how I said whenever you use the hook shot, whenever it lands, it sets a direction for where Link's facing? So if I hook shot that thing, it sets, in this case, slot 4, I'm facing up whenever I use that. So that's how it uses and knows what Link's facing. But remember, we're reading stuff from the wrong slot. So although we're activating the thing from slot 4, eventually what's listed in this slot is the one that matters, okay?
Right.
So you may have not noticed it because it was very, very fast, but I dash dust while facing right. And at that point, the dash dust was going to slot 0. So Link's position at slot 0 was me facing right. So when the hookshot got to that position, it's saying, oh, I hookshot something to the right. I'm going to send Link to the right, even though we hookshotted something else because we moved the stuff around, okay? So if I instead was facing left, when I did that transition, I'd be shot to the left. Or if I was facing up, I'd shoot up, etc. So that's how we can manipulate the hookshot to go in weird directions because it's, again, referencing the wrong set of save data.
So were you showing us an example of that without like a like that was just a place to show it as an example because it looks like we're just continuing on normally.
Nope, we got the ice rod there.
Oh, that was you went over and got the ice rod.
I was like, we got the ice rod. Okay. So that's important. Anyway.
And then you went back.
Beast Town has a very nice rail because you can just go right around it like that and get out of bounds. It's super convenient. So again, all this is similar ways of getting out of bounds. And if you've been watching and paying attention, you know that our goals are get into EG and then find a way to get out of EG. So most of the times we're getting out has been to hookshot. So we're going to be doing that again in order to get to Ice Palace. Specifically, the final area of Ice Palace. So
right now we're cycling through dungeons and
so we're on the EG map essentially, and I know where to go to get where I need to be. So yeah, that's what's going on here. All right, so placing the block just so I don't mess it up, overloading the slots, getting a bomb in slot 7, and now I need to hookshot something in bounds. If I can shoot. I think I lost myself. Let me hide the background really quick just so I can see where it is. It's disable BG2, yes. Okay, so we're way over here. Oh. Shit. There we go. Okay, I think we're in bounds again. Put these back on. Okay, yeah. Sorry about that. Okay. That was just a tool. I got lost under there, so rather than keeping you waiting, trying to find the accurate thing, but there's visual cues you can use in order to find your way out. And now we are here. We don't have a hammer, so normally you're supposed to go down that way and get into Cold Stare, but we do not have the tools to do it because we glitched around all over the place. So we're going to do another setup to get a misslotted block. So there we go.
That's the problem, is that usually like you can use glitches to get ahead, but like then what? In Zelda games, when you need items.
Okay, so what we're doing here is doing the same thing as we did before, except important thing. See how I have slot? Oh, I think I messed this up. Yeah, I messed this up. Shoot. Let's reattempt this. So. All right. Stand by. Why is that not setting?
So what do we? What's the goal right now?
My goal is to set the memory values to do another one of those hook push things. But I'm forgetting something here. Sorry, this has never happened before. Oh, haha! I said the name of the show for you.
Oh, it's the name of the show. Bow, 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 bow. I need the sound for that. I need that for stream.
Oh, I think I know what I forgot. Okay, so we put that there. There we go. So now our slots are non-zero.
Okay.
So I need to do a dash hook shot here because otherwise I'm going to hit that 0 value and it's going to stop it. So I can dash it, put it down where those 4Cs, 0, 4, 4Cs are, and that will allow me to hopefully do that. Okay.
Oh,
so that put me down there. So same concept as before. I'm just setting up the memory to do so. And we're going to be doing one more iteration of that. And I need to make sure I don't despawn this block, but these are all tools. Everything I'm doing are tools to set those values to be what I need it to be for the hook push to work. Okay, so I should have done that. And now we're down here. See all those 0 slots? I need to get to slot 0 in order for the hook push to happen, but I'm in a bad spot because all those are there. In comes pausing. So if I pause on the frame it hits, you know that counter the Samaria is doing to decrement the slot by 1 every frame? That continues in the menu. So what I do is I wait till it connects, and then I pause, and then it's going to be on slot 0 when I unpause. So I don't have to worry about all that other stuff. So if I did it correctly, and now when I unpause, I should shoot through at very high speed through the bottom of this room. And conveniently down here, it's our friend Cold Stare.
Oh my gosh.
And because I messed up, I just refilled my magic there. And we're going to beat Cold Stare.
And then that's it.
Now we have the gold sword, so things go very easily now. So again, same thing. We want the hook shot to read from a wrong slot that has the memory set up in such a way that we go the direction we want. And we're editing that parameter by using other things that fill that index. Because it all works the same way.
I wonder how people put all this together. This is so wild.
Yeah, so a lot of tools use like emulators or something like that. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say that word, but yeah, you know. But there's like memory watches where you can just look in and inspect the memory of the Super Nintendo and just monitor what's changing and what's not changing. And that's how a lot of this stuff is found. So thankfully the Super Nintendo, the Super Nintendo doesn't have that much memory. So there's not too much to look at, right? Mm-hmm. So by just looking at everything, you can go, oh, you know, when I do this, it's setting these values or something. And then you could just focus your efforts on that and see, all this stuff is loading things from areas it shouldn't be.
Right.
Isn't that weird?
And then you just find ways to pair them together. So interesting.
All right, so we're doing the same thing as we did before, you know, going out of bounds. But you know how, if you're wondering, we need to go get that crystal, right?
Yeah. Oh, the one from earlier?
Yeah. So we don't have the Ice Palace crystal yet, but Cold Stair's defeated. So if we go, let me make sure I'm up far enough.
Can we respawn him?
So we're going into Cold Stair's room, and Cold Stair's already defeated, so look at that. It drops us a crystal.
Oh, just like right away.
Yep, just right away. We don't have to beat the boss again. The boss is already dead. So when we beat Cold Stair, we entered from Thieves Town, so it gave us the Thieves Town crystal. We didn't get the Ice Palace one. So now we entered from Ice Palace, went back to Cold Stair's room because it's super close, and now we got the Cold Stair crystal.
That's hilarious.
Now, in this category, I do have to beat every boss. Just, we're not collecting the prize from the dungeon in like any vanilla location.
Right.
It's quite fascinating.
All dungeons.
Like, we got the Eastern pendant from Eastern, so that worked.
This is not glitchless all dungeons. That's not the point of the show. Okay, so we have another cutscene here. So then what's next up?
Okay, so now we're going to beat Aghanim 2. That's the penultimate boss. And the reason why is because simply it's very convenient.
Okay, of course.
This is why. So, should I mess that up? You need to be careful on your timings because whenever sword sparkles are on, it alternates between like no value and like not shown and shown. So you need to make sure you're replacing the Ancilla at the right time. Anyway, this is why we're doing Aghanim 2 right now, because this is the top of Ganon's tower, literally right next to Cold Stair's entrance. It's so close. So we just do it now. And we're going to do our same weird shot to get back in bounds. And I messed that up. Hooray, go me. This run is very difficult to do perfectly because you're not able to see these numbers to know when you mess up and all that.
Right, so you have to just hope that it's right or just know exactly how it looks. Or.
But you do this enough times and you'll be good. It's like, there we go. We weird shot it in bounds. Now we're going to do the same thing because we don't have the big key to Ice Palace, which would let us go through that. So we need to find alternative means of going through that door. It's another hook push. So we're going to miss slot to 9. When I say 9, that means we're putting a Samaria block into slot 9 down there, which you can see on the left by those indicators. You're looking for 2C to be in that bottom slot.
Right.
So let's see. And there it is. It's there. And now we need to set up our data for the hook push. So I'm getting 4C, which is a big number in slot 0. And now because we have all those zeros, I'm going to need to do another pause in order to make sure I don't end the hook shot early. So I can pause there. And it knocks us through the door and into the Aghanim 2 fight. Here we are.
That was so fast. Oh my God.
Now here's where you can see how bad I am at this game. How many cycles is it going to take me to beat Aghanim 2? That's a 1 and a 1. 3s are good. 2s are all right. Okay. He teed this up for me and gave me a blue ball. Okay, so that was only 1. So we have 3 hits of 6. And as you can see, the graphics get very messed up when you're loading stuff in a way it's not supposed to be.
Yes.
That's because where the game's reading for the graphics data is the wrong spot. So things break and all that.
So
hey, look, there's Ganon. We need to beat him eventually. We will be doing Ganon last, I promise.
We'll get back to it.
We'll get back to him later. Anyway, so we beat Aghanim 2. That's one of the requirements for all dungeons. And it places us on the pyramid, which is where we need to go in order to get the Ether Medallion. So this is another like quite fascinating coincidence that it's wonderful that the game is broken in such a very specific way to allow something absurdly convenient to happen. So we're in Hyrule Castle. Hyrule Castle doesn't have a boss. But we're going to beat a boss while the game knows we're in Hyrule Castle. Okay. So remember I did this earlier and how you had to do like 5 frame perfect inputs?
Now it's the easy.
Now it's a piece of cake. So we're out of bounds and we're going to be navigating to Landmolens, which is a boss we need to defeat. That's the boss of Desert Palace, the second dungeon. So I need to get up to a very specific spot.
I understand this so much better. It's still like, there's still a level that's hard for me to grasp, but I definitely understand this so much better seeing it now.
Yeah, so really quick, I just want to mention here. So again, the thing I keep on stressing, once you get into EG, you have to find a way out. This is another example of a movable wall room. So this room has a movable wall. So we enter it, it kicks us in bounds. And if we hold down, it knocks us in the correct direction to load the boss fight. So the way the game gives you prizes is you have a dungeon ID that you are in. So you enter Pod, Palace of Darkness. You are in that. The game sets the dungeon ID to that. Okay? Now you see there's an Ether Medallion here. So the dungeon ID tells the game which prize to give you when you defeat a boss. It's not tied to a specific thing. So Hyrule Castle doesn't have a boss, so it has a junk piece of data in there. Stuff that's never supposed to be accessed or used. But conveniently for us, that junk piece of data that the developers meant to be nothing corresponds to the Ether Medallion as the prize. So whenever you enter Hyrule Castle and defeat a boss, the boss will reward you the Ether Medallion.
That's so interesting.
Now we're stuck here because the thing that transitions you out of here is a crystal cutscene by picking up a crystal. We didn't pick up a crystal, so we're stuck in here, so we got to mirror out.
What? Okay. Great.
Yeah, so that's another item we're going to need to get, and we're going to get the desert thing very soon.
Okay, I got you. It's a good thing you have the mirror.
Let's see. Okay, so there's our block.
There you go.
There we go. We're going to put down another one. Set that up. So now we're going to do another thing. See, I sword slash to the right, and that's going to move me to the right whenever I hookshot something. And because, remember, Fu, there's zeros there, so I need to pause to make sure I'm not stopping the hookshot early. Same exact thing that's happening here. 4C, that's a big number, which is good for us. So I need to pause it right there.
There.
And it sends us all the way through because we needed to go far. And hey, look, Fu, it's desert. So we're going to exit desert and we're going to re-enter.
Right there.
Now, my dungeon ID is Desert Palace.
Perfect.
And what's the reward for Desert Palace? Take your guess. Chat, you can guess. What is the reward that you get from Desert?
Chat.
Do you know? Anybody know the answer?
But we're missing. My brain is doing its best. I'm doing my absolute best.
Yeah, so normally we're in Light World, we're collecting 3 pendants. What do we get from Desert? And that's the blue pendant. I think it's the blue pendant. The Pendant of Wisdom. And we're not going to defeat Lamos. We already beat him. So we need to beat some other boss to get that pendant.
So what do we do?
Well, we're going to go find another boss for you.
Of course we are. We have to find one somewhere. I feel like I already beat this, so I gotta find another one somewhere.
Okay, so we need to go find another boss. So we use the hook shot to get us out of bounds again. Every single one of these situations I'm doing this is the exact same concept. But we set it up giving the materials and what's in the room that we're currently at. So we're currently navigating to a dungeon we haven't beat yet, which is Misery Meyer. So we're out of bounds, so we need to do another weird shot to get us back inside. So if we come here...
Okay.
And we can hookshot this pot to get back inside. There we go.
So funny.
So we're at the very end of Misery Meyer. So I know we call this all dungeons. There's not too much dungeoning we're doing. We're beating the bosses, though. So we're beating all bosses that give us a crystal reward or pendant reward. Yeah,
it's like the game like thinks that you've beat them all.
Mm-hmm. All right, so here's Vitreous.
So funny.
So we're doing this is an NMG glitchless strat where we are, I'm gonna refill my HP so I don't die, because that'd be bad. We're damage boosting off of the slime because it deals 1 heart of damage, whereas the eyeballs deal like a bajillion hearts of damage. It's not literally a bajillion, but it's close. It hurts. So by taking 1, we use the iframes to get in nice and close in order to get spin slashes on everything. And there we go. Remember, we entered from desert, so we get the blue pendant. There it is.
Yeah, perfect.
It's all making sense now, right? That's why you get these rewards from these bosses, because you're entering and the game thinks you're beating desert.
Do you have all 3 pendants now? You have at least
we got 2 of them.
Okay.
Yeah, see right there. We're missing the red one. We never pulled the Master Sword, so the game is still tracking pendants for us. We've got quite a number of crystals. And this, Foo, is why we needed that Ether Medallion. So we can open up Meyer and go back in, because we need to go into Meyer in order to beat Trinex, the boss of Turtle Rock.
Of course we do. Why wouldn't it be that way? It sounds
It'd be too convenient if you beat the boss from the dungeon it's supposed to be in, right?
Yeah, of course.
But so the main reason we have to go this roundabout way, if you've noticed, outside of Mothula, where we got the gold sword, the big moth with all the spikes, that crazy room, we've had to enter a dungeon outside of that room, hookshot inbounds, and then get into that room. That's because Mothula's room is the only room in the game that has something you could hookshot onto. So that's why that room is very special, and that's the only place you can do that trick with the hookshot, because other rooms, there's no blocks to hookshot on. That's the only reason that works there. So our whole problem here is we can't just EG to a boss room. Again, EG, exploration glitch, that's when I'm all over the place underneath the world. We can't just do that and end up in a boss room. We have to get there via other means, like hook pushing, which got us to Aga 2, or something beyond the doors. We can't go out of bounds and re-enter bounds inside. So we're doing stuff to bypass that. We're gonna do another hook push here. This time through the right wall, because right on the other side of this wall, Trinex is right there waiting for us. We just need to find a way to bust our way through.
So close.
Okay, so actually I should say, Trinex is not on that side of the room. He's actually up 1 and to the right 1. But hey, you see we're going into this door, right? We're going all the way up here because we are going to watch the screen. There it is. There's the blink. We have now loaded the room up. So now when we transition right, we're actually transitioning right, but up 1 from where we're currently visibly at, because the game thinks we're 1 super tile up. And to the right of that room that we just transitioned corruption to, that's where Trinex is. So now we just need to set up the hook push here. So I'm going to save state so I don't mess it up.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So this one's kind of a pain because you have the...
Why not? Because the door's open, why not just go up 1 to begin
because this is the room that has the necessary stuff to hookshot on in order to do it.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha.
So we need to do it from here because up top... Oops. Okay, this should send me through the door. There we go. All the way through that room, and it's our boys, Trinex.
And here we are.
This run. This is why we needed the ice rod, by the way. Only reason. And I didn't menu in time, so we gotta wait for this to happen. when you defeat bosses, the game prevents you from going through and menuing or even using items a lot of the time. So you have to menu beforehand to get to the thing you want.
Gotcha. Huh. You're ready. You were ready.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we're ready for try next. That's another NMG way of beating them. You can attack the head before the body starts glowing. I know it's kind of weird with the palette all corrupted. But yeah, the head is vulnerable for like the first couple seconds, and then you have to hit the middle of try next. So we just kill them before the middle phase comes in.
That's wild.
Now, this is the Misery Meyer crystal, so we're going to get the Misery Meyer cutscene and such.
Perfect. So how many things are we missing at this point?
All right, so we have a couple more things we need to do. We need to get the... Actually, shoot, what is next?
How many crystals do we have left?
Next, we need to go beat Argus, the boss of Swamp Palace, which will give us the crystal for Turtle Rock, aka rescuing Zelda. So you're going to see Zelda in the next one. And then we need to go beat Hera, and then we're done with the game. So we're getting there. Wow. We're almost done.
Oh my gosh. And then we have some fun stuff to look at as well.
Yeah, if we have some extra time after we're done with this, I'll show off some other random things that don't show up in this run, but are kind of amusing and show up in other runs.
Awesome. Okay, so right now you're doing... Again, just having the hook shot and
these two are a powerful combo because it's just so beneficial to us that the Cane of Samaria happens to access the memory that hookshot uses when in that specific spot.
Yep.
To benefit us. It's just amazing that happens.
Yeah.
So I should be able to do that.
This is like what we're using from now on, basically.
Essentially, yeah. Part. Okay, I kind of messed this up. Let me make sure I don't accidentally go in bounds. Oh shoot. Yeah, I think I messed this up.
Did you fall?
I lost where I was. I think I'm okay now.
Hard because you can't see.
I wrapped the screen around, I think, too much. Okay, we're set.
All right, so we're going up through here.
So you understand what's going on at this point. No, we're just going through, and I know where to go. Yeah. That's all it is.
Oh, I saw him for a little bit.
Did I mess this up? I think I may have accidentally messed this up.
You know, someone in my position, I would never know.
Okay, I think I'm okay. This is where I need to be. Oh. We're in desert. Yeah, we're in Desert Palace. There we are. Hey, say hello, Link. Everybody can see you're on camera.
It's so funny to see the color palettes change when you go into different rooms, but they're not like, it takes a few frames for them to actually change.
Let me check my state. Okay, yeah, we're set. Nothing
awesome.
got hecked too much. So now we need to get in bounds again. Uh-oh. What is going on here? Yeah, something is really weird that's going on. I'm going to mirror and try this again.
Do it again. Yeah.
That's a practice hack thing that's going on.
Gotcha.
Where sometimes it just messes things up.
Chad, if you have any questions about what's happening, feel free to ask besides what's happening. Because, that's like the whole show so far.
Yeah.
So much.
God, I need to not go all the way over. Let's try this.
One comment says, this is exactly how I remember this game. Right? Perfect replication of how you would play this game.
Yeah, let me just look at the map again, make sure I know where I'm going.
No problem.
Yeah, let's see. So we're here, consulting the map of Destiny. There we go. Here. Okay, this is the room I should have been in before. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So now we're here. Okay. So hopefully that didn't mess things up. Again, I'm using an older version of the practice hack that gets some magic that has some issues, but again, I think it's better for visualization of this. Okay, there we go. My Cane of Samaria block was despawning for some reason. Don't worry about it. But we're set. We fixed it. And we're going to place some bombs. There they are. And now we just need to go and bounce. Okay.
There you go, because you hooked onto.
So now some real magic is going to happen in this game. Everything we've talked about is going to culminate in this moment. So we need to go beat Argus. And Argus is very, very far away. And there's no really easy way to just go into EG and walk over to the room. So what we're going to do is cause a transition to go up one room. So I'm just going to save state here. So we've seen this before. You know what's going to happen. You're going to see the screen blink. We're going to spoof data in the room, and it's going to think we're somewhere we're not.
And then are you going to do okay, I saw the blink. Are you going to do a death warp?
Yeah, we're going to do the death hole here. But one thing that happens, I've never explained exactly what's going on, the other side effects. I'm going to pause just so we don't hear the annoying beeping noise, okay? So I've mentioned that this is how we spoof rooms from super tiles up above. Every time we blink, it's loading another super tile up, and how that messes with the loading screens and how it kind of like warps you around because the game thinks you're somewhere you're not. One thing I haven't mentioned, remember very early on how I showed you that random hole that there wasn't a hole there? And it just showed up after I did the thing. It's the time has come to explain what's going on there.
Oh, good! Finally!
So we're finally there, and I'm going to show this thing called Samaria Pits. So first,
Samaria Pits.
Let me fix this.
We also have questions in chat for whenever you have time.
Okay. Well, there's the Samaria Pits. I've made them visible. They're seemingly random all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Just these weird things. All right, let's answer the question. Let's take one from the audience.
Okay.
Let's take one from the audience before we move on.
There were two questions that I saw. One of them was, can these glitches be done in other versions of the game, like not on the SNES?
Most of this is exclusive to the Japanese 1.0 version. There are some things you can do on other versions, but the entire list and breakdown, I can't tell you. Just some things work. A lot of it's been fixed. So most of what you're seeing here, assume is being done on the Japanese 1.0 version of the game.
You need to locate like a cart of that if you really wanted to do everything. Okay.
Yep.
So that means no, not everything can be done. And then also, how do you do all these glitches in a normal run? Do you stockpile green potions because of all the magic you need?
Yeah, so there's a trick you can do. Well, either you go around and find magic refills as needed. But one thing, you do it first try, and you have enough magic generally to do things. But there is a trick you can do with the Cane of Samaria called the Samaria Magic Refill. And by overloading Ancilla slots and using the cane, whenever you successfully use the cane, it fills your magic meter up. So you'll see that happen a lot in RTA attempts where you're not doing it with the practice hack and all that, where at several points we're like, okay, I want magic either to make this faster or to make this easier. You'll see them like shoot some arrows into a wall, place some bombs on the floor, and then just spam the cane and then the magic will go up. That's what's going on there. I'm not doing it here just because it takes time, too much time. I'm also pretty bad at it because it requires some precise timing to do. I'm just taking the easy way, refilling my magics just so we don't have to waste our time with that. But that's how you do it when you're doing this in a real run.
Cool. All right, let's continue.
All right, so there's all these pits everywhere. What the heck, right?
Yes. Why?
So
what do they do?
It's time to talk about game states, Fu. Think of game states as it's a number or a value set in memory of what the game's currently doing. Okay. So the default state, where I have control of Link, think of that as game state 0, okay?
Okay.
And here, I'm gonna really quick save a state there so I can get back. Let's go into Tower of Hera. So these are like preset save states to just warp around. So we're exiting the run temporarily to show what's going on. So let's go to the petting zoo. These are all the names for things. And we'll go down. Actually, yeah, we'll drop down here. Here's a good spot. Okay, so when I'm walking around, think of this as game state 0. Now, when I lose control of Link, say going down the stairs, I don't have control of Link. The game sets, say, game state 7, okay? And the game's like, run Link animation upstairs, load new room. When it's done, return to state 0, game state 0, and we have control again. Things like activating the flutes, activating the mirror, anything where you lose control, scrolling the screen left and right, scrolling the screen up and down, using the flute, pressing a switch, using a lever, all that stuff happens, and it changes the game state. Now, there are 2 ways to set a value. You can either just say, hey, when this happens, set value at this spot to 7, like the stairs. This is not what the actual game state number for a stair transition is. This is just an example. And then there's also something you could do, and where you can assume, hey, whenever you activate this, the game state should always be 0. It should always be 0. So instead of setting the value to 7, we're going to take the current value and add 7 to it, and that gets us to 7, because you should never be able to get there from any other spot. Silly them. So you can see where this is going. So I'm in state 0. I enter this. It increments the number to go to the game state that it needs to be to execute whatever bit of code it needs to do. So stair transition whatsoever.
Right,
the important thing
transition.
Here is this star tile. The star tile is game state 3. We'll call it 3, okay? So default is 0, star tile is game state 3. So what happens, I press a star tile. You see up there on the top how that hole's being created? You may be starting to connect the dots. Hey, holes, I remember holes before. So this is game state 3. When I press this tile, a couple things happen. It loads a tile set in memory, or writes it in memory, saves something in there, and then overlays the screen on a second pass to draw the holes and update the collision and all that other stuff before giving control back to Link. So there's actually a very brief pause a lot of the time when this happens, because you lose control of Link just for a little bit. So that happens. Okay. That's game state 3. Now, going back to our save state here.
Must be like a few frames, maybe?
Yeah, if that. Control. Yeah. So a super tile transition in here, just for sake of illustrating this again, we're going to go back to the PowerPoint that I had before. So each of these big areas is a super tile. So there's a super tile transition. I can't remember if that's 2 or 1, but it's one of the 2. And then the sub-tile transition is 1 or 2. I forget exactly. One of them is 1, one of them's 2. What's 1 plus 2? That's 3. So by activating both those transitions at essentially the same time and not actually transitioning by getting the Samaria through the door, it runs the game mode of stepping on a star tile, which causes pits to be formed at designated spots. But you're looking at this all seems random, right? This is like all over the place. There's no spot in the game that looks like this. And the reason that's the case is we are activating the star tile subroutine of the game to go update the tile map and run all this without updating the tile map because the game doesn't have any actual star tiles here. So what it does is it still runs the routine that you stepped on a tile switch, it draws the pits and does all that, but it has to pull that data from somewhere. And this is a Super Nintendo, so all that memory is getting reused all over the place because you can't just have one dedicated spot, only used for one thing. So it's activating the game mode to draw tiles, and it's loading whatever is there, whatever's in the spot that's usually looking to. And it's filled with graphical data and a whole bunch of random junk data. So essentially, the graphics of the room for the tiles just happen to correspond to these locations when running that routine. So it's consistent based off of the room you're in, and the tiles will... Are we going to
break the visuals of the room?
Well, I have them hidden on right now, just so you can see them. But yeah, so...
Okay.
And this is coupled with a couple things. So great, we have these tiles that now will lead us somewhere. Okay, so I'm going to save state here. I'm just going to fall into one of these tiles. Okay.
Oh wait, map's still up.
Map's still up. Shoot. Okay. Let's do this again. All right. I'm sorry. So all these tiles again are in random spots, right? So that's what you should have been saying.
Explain I'm 5 versions that you can do for this for those maybe just joining.
Yeah. So we're causing the game to load something via an unintended way that's not supposed to be loaded. And it doesn't have any data written there, so it loads a bunch of junk data of whatever's existing in order to complete the process, and that results in these random pits that you're seeing everywhere.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, so you fall down one of these pits.
I need these No,
that's good. That's good. So please stop me at any time. And we're in a locked room.
Okay.
Okay, so what we did was just wrong warp. This room. Oh shoot. I think I accidentally save stated in here. We're gonna have to do this again. Anyway, we're back to Turtle Rock. While I'm getting back there, we will explain again what's going on. So that room is a wrong warp, and that means I am loading somewhere that shouldn't be loaded. So what's going on is that room normally doesn't have any place for you to fall. There's no place to fall. So it doesn't have...
That blank room that you fell into? Okay.
So hang on, let's fix this. My coordinates locked off. Okay.
Well, I'm here, everyone. I'm trying to ask questions to help it. I don't want to ask questions at every moment because this is a lot, but
there's a lot going on. So
right, it is good to get the clarification though occasionally to be like, okay, do I actually get this? Could I repeat this back?
Yeah. So in rooms where there's like a drop down, like one of those Hera rooms, there's a warp ID essentially saying when you fall in this room, take you to this room. Okay. But this room in Desert doesn't have that set because you're not supposed to be able to fall in anywhere. So it has some placeholder value, and most of them set the room to like 0, essentially, saying take you to room 0, which is Ganon's room. But not all of them do that. Some of them do more interesting things like this room. And the room that this is going to happens to be directly next to Argus, the boss of Swamp Palace.
Which is what we've been going for this whole time.
Which is where we're trying to get to, but we have a problem, Fu. So we fall down that hole, right? And let's save state again, but we're stuck. We can't get out of it. It's one way because there's nothing to hook onto, and we can't transition because we're not doing that transition corruption to get there. So the room that we're loading to the right of here, when we do that like north transition corruption, where the screen blinks and we load the room, that's actually to Thieves Town, one of the rooms of Thieves Town, not that tile. So we have to come up with a way to load that room we're falling down into. We have to load that room somehow and then stay in this room and enter the death hole. So we are going to cause the game to load that, but we don't want Link to fall in there. So that's called the death hole. And, oh shoot, messed that up. We are going to die on the exact same frame that room transition happens.
When you're falling down into the blank room. Okay.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So we just loaded the thing. You can't see the pits. But they're there, I promise. So we're getting to a very specific spot because there's a setup to do this. And we're going to time this by using dash items. You can dash and drop an item on the same frame. So we damage boosted down to 1 health, so a bomb will kill us. And I'm going to save state here. So we're going to bonk off the wall on the left, sword slash up once, and that should delay us just enough to die on the exact frame that we fall in. And it's going to reload us into this room, and we will be not dead. Why won't we be dead? Well, here's why. Oh, shoot, I messed that up. We got a fairy. So we are now back at the top, but we've loaded the room that we're supposed to drop down to. Now, when we transition right, we're going to be going into Argus's room. So the reason it does the fairy animation there is because the fairy is a game state. And we're messing with the game state again by messing that up. And now we are next to Argus's room.
Oh, and it still has the text up.
Yeah, the game is very broken now.
Yes. No idea.
So that's called the Death Hole, and we could use that to beat Argus. That allows us to get to this room without going all over the world. Yeah. Now, those of us who have been paying very close attention knows that we're still missing two things. We need one more crystal, and we need one more pendant. Because remember Skullwoods? Remember Skullwoods, how we never collected that? We got the gold sword, but we never got the crystal.
Yes, and we have to beat Hera.
Yeah, we have to beat Hera. So those are our last two things. So luckily for us, we can get the crystal to Skullwoods from Swamp.
Of course we can.
Oh yeah, also see how we're talking to Zelda? Remember, we entered from Turtle Rock. You rescue Zelda in this game by beating Turtle Rock, not by beating Ganon. So there's Zelda in the crystal, because the game thinks we just beat Turtle Rock. But we beat the Swamp boss, so it's going to locate us. Where else but Swamp Palace? Here we are. All right, so now I'm going to make sure we save, so we do that. So we're just setting up values again for a hook push. This time we're going to go to the right, because that's the room that has our crystal. Just need to pause on the frame, and out we go. And it's going to drop from the ceiling. There it is. So it actually drops in the wall, and the hitbox for grabbing the crystal is bigger when it's landing. So you need to be in position of that crystal before it falls. Otherwise, it's stuck in the wall and you can't get to it.
Oh, I see. Okay, so while
we beat Skullwoods. Right, that's the Skullwoods crystal. Now, Fu, here's a quiz time. We just beat Skullwoods, so when this cutscene finishes, where are we going to be?
Which one did we just?
So we just beat. You think of it, we just beat Mothula. We just beat Skullwoods. Where are we going to go when we exit this?
Would it not be the Skullwoods entrance?
Do you think it's going to be the Skullwoods entrance?
No, I don't. Not at all.
Do you want to change your answer?
It's going to be near the Hera's place.
Well, let's see. We're about to find out.
The Tower of Hera. Okay.
You should have stuck with your gut, Fu. It is Skullwoods, because we beat Skullwoods.
Oh, okay. Look, I don't trust anything in this game.
All right, so now we're going to go beat Hera. So we're almost at the end of the run. We've got essentially 3 more bosses to do. They're all accessed via Hera super quickly. Maybe like 5-10 minutes left here.
Is it like that the screens are going to be close to where her fight is, or?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
So we're doing that screen scroll we did, exact same thing to get back up to Hera. Now we're in. The next thing we're going to do is called Hera Pot. So this isn't a major glitch. This is largely used in Randomizer and coincidentally here. Hera Pot's relatively new, very, very nice to use. But we're going to get Spin Speed, which you use an item or hook shot on stairs and press boots at the same time. The game gets really stuck in this state where you think you're using the boots. And Link moves very, very fast, many frames per frame. So we can use that to clip into objects, like this pot here. So we're in Hera, it's the Hera pot. So we can use that to clip and bounce, hook shot, and get inside. So it's a very easy trick to do. Everybody at home, I guarantee you, a couple minutes of practice, you can pull that off. And this puts us up in Tower of Hera, where we can fight Moldor. And we could finally get our last pendant and go collect the Master Sword. But we already have the gold sword, so who cares?
You just need it for game recognition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In the category, we need to do all the dungeons. That means beating all the bosses. I like to think of it as you beat every single boss that has special boss music. Okay. Because you have a couple refights in Ganon's castle, but they don't get boss music, so those don't count. So we're beating every boss that gets its own backing track, essentially. The important ones.
We have our third pendant.
Mm-hmm. And now we need to get... we have all of our crystals, by the way. I think we do. Yeah, we should have all our crystals now, if I did everything right. So now all that's left is we need to beat Aghanim 1, which we haven't done. And then we need to beat Ganon. Now, conveniently, whenever you beat Aghanim 1, it teleports you to the pyramid, which is exactly where we need to go. Also, I can hide this HUD now because we no longer need it. So let's clean up the screen a little bit. It's like taking off a big coat after a long day. I can see everything. So I'm just going to kill these so we don't have to worry about it. Hey, look, there's those star tiles. Good old game mode 3 coming in clutch.
Also with the Hera pot thing, what were like the controls that you would use in order to like run into the pot once you have the fast thing?
You have to. So what I do is I get into a specific position up top. Sorry.
You're fine.
Dang it. I seem to have forgotten what I was doing. Sorry. This is a harder door juke that I'm going to be doing. But yeah, so I get into a very specific position, and you could watch the input display here on this run of how to do that. But yeah, sorry. I'm just having to blank a brain fart right now of the direction I'm supposed to hold. So I hold a down left input.
I know you're trying to do two things at once.
Okay, that should be good. I just save state here. Okay. Sorry, let me just get through this clip here and I'll explain it more.
Sure. Okay.
Shoot, too much. I have to do like 1 pixel of a movement at a time. See like the 2E9 there? The next setup is going to be 2A0. That's how you count in hexadecimal. Just think of it, we're going from 9 to 10. There it is. Okay. So this is the spot I need to be, and I'm going to throw this. God, I messed it up, didn't I? Oh, I forgot the juke. So I need to snap to the position I need to be in. There we go. And yeah.
What are you doing right now?
I'm trying to wrap the screen around, and I'm messing it up somehow.
What do you mean with like wrapping it around?
So you know how earlier on I would go off the bottom of the screen and end up further at the top? I'm doing that from the right to the left.
Okay, but you're going through like a door that was theoretically open. That's what we're hearing.
So it's playing that noise. I think I just need to go longer.
Is that the wrong door?
No, it's the right door.
Oh.
There we go. Wait.
Oh.
Hang on. I got stuck. I think I went too far. What is going on here? I'm messing something up. We'll get there, Fu. We'll get there.
Oh, I know.
I'm not sure if I messed something up with the game state.
Well, again, like not being able to see when you're off screen it just complicates things so much more.
I don't know if I need to set this to strong EG or something.
When you're doing something as specific as this, like it doesn't surprise me that you can get stuck in an area, you know, it's like you don't know where you are, like you suddenly can't see, so it's hard to be able to judge sometimes if you're not like in the exact
why? Yeah, right. I'm not sure why this is happening. Okay, we got it. We're good. Sorry. Yeah, that was a little bit funky. I probably just forgot something. Don't worry about it. But we're in Aghanim's room. That shadow there, if you recall playing the vanilla game, that's where Aghanim takes Zelda. So that's Zelda's shadow sitting there. And we're now going into Aghanim's fight, but the game's all weird with that transition. So we're technically to the right of the room. So I need to get to a specific spot to dash. This is like the last trick of the game. We're almost done. Let me try going up a little further. Okay, so here's Aghanim. So we were just one screen off because of the door juke. And Aghanim's like, wait, why are you hitting me over here? It's like, it's so weird. Well, we're actually over to the right of the screen, so we need to come back. So now we're synced up. Now this is where you can get your guesses in on the number of blue balls we're gonna see. There's one. I threw away 2, so this could be a lot. 3 is the average if you do it right, but since we threw 2 away, it's going to be probably higher than average.
Okay.
Again, the palette's all messed up because we're entering this from a way we're not supposed to.
We've already fought round 2. And then it's just
there's 2 blue balls. Yeah, so we're just going to drop into Ganon after this, and the run's done. We almost made it. We were almost done.
Yes, this has been awesome. Like, this is so much. Just trying to really get into the heavy details of this game. Like, it's
yeah, the amount of happy coincidences that make this run work is kind of incredible.
Yes.
Like the fact that Samaria, for some reason, has something that decrements by 1 and that we can get it into the perfect spot that Hookshot's reading into, that really makes this possible.
I mean, again, this is also like 30 years of people testing this out and, you know, eventually being able to like break this down. And, you know, the fact that people have worked so hard to get all of these little consistencies and show like, oh, you fall into this hole, and then if you death warp, you can go over here and do this, and you know, use these 2 items together to break you out, and like using these values. Like, all of this research that people have put into this is really incredible. Even if it's hard for people to understand in only like a couple of hours, it's still like this is just, you know, the best breakdown possible of just trying. I don't know, it's like both we're learning a lot, but also it feels like we're only scratching the surface because it's so hard to understand on the first go around.
Yeah, there's so much.
Yes, absolutely.
I've done my best to try and like boil it down to something that's more comprehensible.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just hearing it explained out, like if you're really looking at things and like the PowerPoint thing that you use is like very helpful.
I hope people got some utilization out of that to kind of show how the transition corruptions are working.
Yeah. Very, very helpful to be able to have that. Like, to have visual guides is super helpful for people because otherwise there'd be no way we could have even kept up.
Yeah, so the way I learned how all this worked is, I spent like 2 to 3 months just playing around with the game, seeing how things broke, seeing how things happened. There's a wonderful, wonderful speedrunning resource, the Links to the Past wiki, where a lot of this stuff is documented.
For sure.
In less concise language, but it's
sure.
there.
But,
and then I also had a whole bunch of help, like the Link to the Past Discord. I went in there to their training room and just asked, like, hey, also, oops, I need to go light this baby. Okay. We don't have silver arrows, so sorry. I just needed to do torch glitch there. If you light that torch before the other one goes out, it keeps permanently on. It's pretty nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so that allows you to save on magic conservation. So.
Oh, okay. Got you.
Anyway, so like I had a lot of help from Glenn, who ran the GDQ 2021 All Dungeons Major Glitches run. Josh helped me out a lot. So many people, like whenever I ask questions of like how stuff works, I got a whole bunch of like meaty answers, and everybody was like so quick to respond and super helpful. So this showcase would not have been possible if they did not help me out in learning all this stuff. Big shout outs to the speedrunning community and the people who do this run RTA, because doing this RTA is very difficult. But I think it's just fun to go through. Just like this was, again, just a pure curiosity exercise for me of how this works. And I'm messing up all my cycles here because I'm explaining stuff, but don't worry about it.
That's okay. You can focus for a second. You know.
All right, there we go. Ganon's done. Time's coming up as soon as we enter the door.
Yay! Okay, but then we're gonna keep going.
If we have time, I don't know how much time we have left, but I can show some other things. But like, give me a time limit, and I'll show stuff that we can. There's time. All Dungeons Major Glitches complete.
There's actual time, but. Yeah, no, I mean, but I don't know. What kind of time do you want? How much time you want? RTA means real time.
Again, I think I should ask Ray. Shout outs to Ray, our restreamer, by the way, who's been crushing it all day. I'll leave it up to Ray. Ray, how much time do we got?
Literally only 2 people have done this new route. Real time attack means that they've done it like without the save states, like in one session, kind of like just like a live attempt at it, you could say.
Yeah, no cheating like I'm doing, where I'm making save states and giving myself extra equipment, all that for demonstration purposes. You don't have that Ancilla display, so you kind of have to know how it works. But, yeah.
Let's take like another, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, do you want to take a break first before we go into that?
We can. We don't have to. It's up to you. Would you like a break?
I'm asking the people running the show. I can play all night. So. Okay.
We're
hearing word from the truck that maybe 30 to 45 minutes of stuff. Yeah. I'm not sure I can fill that much time, but we'll show you some interesting things.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind taking a break, Boo, now that we finished the run. So if that is okay with you.
That's fine with me.
All right. Excellent.
If that's what you need. Alrighty, everybody. Then we'll be right back and we will see some different types of glitches. Would you say, are these related to other categories or just for fun?
They're used in other categories. They're used in randomizer, not in this route specifically. Though I will say one funny thing is the top 3 runners of this category all use completely different routes.
Oh, interesting.
So there are so many different ways to attack this problem of beating all the dungeons in many different ways. Everybody seems to have their own way. This one follows about, I'd say 75% of the world record route. The opening 15 minutes isn't done in a different order, but after that they kind of sync up, and a lot of the stuff there you'll see. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then huge props to the top runners of this game who have put in what must have been years and years to like understand how everything works and try to figure out the best path for them. That's really cool to hear about, actually. All right, we'll be back very shortly with another quick break, just to kind of get ready to show off this last little bit of other fun glitches that are related to other categories. So we'll be back in just a moment. Feel free to browse and get ready if you'd like to watch some past shows on the YouTube channel, or you can check out the AGDQ 2022 schedule by going to gamesdonquick.com/schedule. So you can look at all that, and we'll be right back. All right, everyone, we are back with the final portion of the show this evening. Welcome back to That's Never Happened Before. Hi, once again, I'm Kung Fu Fruit Cup, and I'm here with Phant_TV, who's been showing us Link to the Past. We just saw a whole exhibition breakdown of the All Dungeons Major Glitches run. Hi, Phant. Thanks.
Hello.
Hey. So now we just wanted to take a little bit of extra time to show off some other glitches that are related to other run categories, just because they're really interesting and really cool to see. And again, learn about, just like we kind of saw with this, with the past couple of hours. So if you want to count us down, we will get into this last like half hour or so of glitch. I want to say like glitch-splanations.
Glitch-splanations? That's a good term. Yeah. You should coin that. Glitch-splanation. I don't know. That should be a category on Twitch.
Yeah, so oh no. Okay, anyway.
All right. Anyway, on go. Time's kind of irrelevant for this. We'll just try and keep myself from talking for too much. So on go. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so here we're back in the overworld. Everything looks normal, fine and dandy. And I'm sure a number of you have either played randomizer or watched randomizer. You know this trick called fake flippers. So fake flippers, if I transition through this at a perfect time, I'll be able to swim in the water, even though I don't actually have the flippers in inventory.
Oh.
They don't exist. So this is something that I'm sure many of you can do, many of you have done, or at least know about. You can identify yourselves in chat if you want to. Like, this is a very, very common thing that people... Oh, I'm already back here. Let me reset and we'll get back. I forgot to set a save state. Anyway, think about that. Now, it's a trick, essential and rando. It's very, very good for sequence breaking things. But do you know why that works? Have you ever thought to yourself why I can fake flippers by doing it this way? Sure, you can do the inputs. Like, okay, I do this, and I can swim. But why? Okay. Now you're gonna find out why that happens right here, right now. So I'm going to go south and demonstrate this. So what happens again is we transition off the screen at the same frame we land, and nothing happens. So just take a minute to look at the screen here. When I jump in the water, I don't have flippers, but you can see as soon as I land in the water, there's like a little splash that you can see going off the left and right, and then Link is in like the swimming animation for one frame, right?
Oh, for a frame.
Mm-hmm. It's just right there. You can see it depending on where I'm going. It's like if I don't do anything, he's kind of just sitting in the water. So that's happening. Now let's go turn on our good friend, the Ansela display in here. So we can see that. Now look at this. When I land, you can see 15 is showing up in slot 4 there. And I'm just going to put this up as a reminder for everybody. These are the slots, 0 through 9 right there. So we're looking at slot 4, okay? 15 corresponds to the splash animation there. Now,
okay.
The game, when you land in the water, it runs a subroutine that checks if you have flippers equipped or you just have them in your inventory. And it's like, okay, you got flippers, you swim. Don't have flippers, we're gonna kick you back to where you jumped in. So that's what's happening here. Now here's the kicker. The code that runs that subroutine is activated by the splash animation showing up. So that 15 right there, that needs to happen for that code to be run, for it to do this check. So what we do when we transition the screen that way is we land in the water before the splash can happen. So that check is never run and the game doesn't kick us out so we can move around as if we had flippers. Pretty neat, right? So there are other ways to do it because I've talked about Ansela overload a lot and a whole bunch of different items can be used in different ways. So what we're gonna do is the exact same thing, except we're gonna make it so that Ansela can't spawn. So if we drop that there, we drop some bombs here, chuck the boomerang to the right or that way. We overloaded it in. That sprite did not spawn. That Ansela never loaded. The check was never run. And now we're sitting in the water like nothing happened. That being said, the game does break, and this is something that's fixed in Rando. When I get hit by something, the game breaks and conveniently put me off there. But if you're off screen when this happens, your game is soft locked and you can't get out of it. In the randomizer, you die if you get hit in the water. And that's just a safeguard because it's such a common trick that people do. They want to make sure that you can continue having a fun rando experience. So they changed that behavior where you're in that state, you die. Okay.
So since you do rando often enough, what are the parameters of glitches that you're allowed to use in a randomizer?
So you can do splash. So this is called splash deletion. So it makes sense now, right? Because the splash is never loading in because it can't. There's no place for it to load in. So that's called splash deletion, and that is perfectly okay. You can do that. You can you can hook shot through objects or delete objects. I could show just generally what that is. That's a very basic thing that happens, but I can demonstrate that later after I go through a couple things. Things that are determined to be minor glitches or so are generally allowed. You can do some creative bomb jumps to get to places you're not supposed to. You can do some minor clipping. That clip I did to go out of bounds so many times?
On the stairs?
On the stairs. Yeah.
Okay, you can do that.
So you can't do that to go into exploration glitch. Anything that puts you in exploration glitch, you can't do. But
hook pushing and
you can't do any of that. None of that. And this is just generally the standard competitive rule set. So when you're playing randomized, you can do whatever you want, right? This is generally how tournaments are run and things like that, or the ladder. There's a link to the past randomizer ladder that you can do, and all of that does not allow that type. So that's the standard racing rule set, I should say, disallows this stuff. But again, there's nothing stopping you from doing whatever you want. There's people who do no logic randomizer, where there's no logic on how it's beaten. But because the game's broken in such a way, you can get everywhere pretty much if you have the right items. Generally, boots, hookshot, cane can get you pretty much everywhere.
Okay.
Okay, so what am I doing here? Yeah, so the flutes. We don't have the flute. But what if we could get the flute? You know how I showed how whenever you transition, it runs game state 1 or game state 2, and it adds it to game state 0, your default state? Yes. And how activating 1 and 2 at the same time added to 3. We did the star tile, all that BS, right? So there's multiple things that you can do to cause other game states to happen. And one of those is called Yuzuhara's Bottle Adventure. So Yuzuhara is a runner of Link to the Past. Many categories, mainly glitched. He has the second highest time in the Major Glitches leaderboard. Discovered a whole bunch of random stuff. There's always a time where Yuzuhara will post something on Twitter of some asinine thing that you've discovered. And it's how? How did he find this? And the answer is well, Yuzuhara is just going to do Yuzuhara things.
Yeah, there's always people like that, especially in communities this big.
Yeah, so by activating specifically a blue potion bottle, as you go through a screen transition, that is 2 game states being activated at the same time because, hey, I don't have control of Link, right? So it's changing the game state to fill up stuff game state. That's a number. And if I couple that with a screen transition, it's going to add the 7 or 8 or whatever it is plus 1. And that is the flute game state, which brings us the flute menu. So this is the Dark World map, but we can go anywhere with the flute. And you know how I mentioned earlier we had fake Dark World, where we came out of Skull Woods and the Light World music was playing? This is the opposite of that. We're now in fake Light World. So this may look like Light World, but it's not. We are still, our world variable is still set to Dark World, even though the music's playing like this. So as soon as we transition the screen somewhere, it's going to load the next tile set corresponding to the world variable you're in. In this case, the Dark World. So we go down, and this is the Dark World area. So there's the frog, all this other stuff, the archery games over here, the dig games over here. And if we go back in, so we're now matched. The world state matches the map we're on. We're now in Village of Outcasts. See?
Oh.
So this has a variety of uses, but it's not just here that you can do this. I'm going to show one place in Palace of Darkness you can do this in, because you can do the exact same thing in a dungeon. So I just loaded a state there. Let's see, I want to make sure I don't have the flutes. Let's give myself a bottle.
The things being shown off now are mostly probably not going to be rando legal.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
and I want to stress this importantly. That's like in the competitive racing rule sets. Again, there's nothing stopping you from doing whatever you want. And you can play the game as you wish. It's just when you're doing it in a competitive setting, the most common rules don't allow stuff like this. So I'm going to get into a door as close as I can. Okay, I think that's close enough. And then I'm trying... Oh, I forgot. I can't use the potion because all my stuff is filled. So it doesn't run the game state of refilling my stuff. So I need to empty that out. So that's what was going on there. So you need to have a way to do this. And we're in a dungeon, and we pulled up the menu, and we could still flute.
Okay.
Now the game will have us flute somewhere, but it's weird. So I just landed on a rupee tile. I don't know why this tile's here. It just happens to be in this spot. But you can infinitely go over that, and it will... You can just farm infinite money by going over that. But when I jump into the water, it's trying to reconcile my location with where it teleported me to. Because, whenever you don't have flippers, it's going to spawn you somewhere else, right? So I'm going all the way down to pod on the EG map. It's taken a while to get there, but we'll get there eventually. And there we go. We finally respawned back at the start of pod. So the game's weird. We have ice physics. And if we transition off the screen, I'm not sure if I could do it from this. If you want a more interesting look at this, you can look at Gland's run from AGQ 2021. He did a great exhibition of this and showing what you can do with what's called the plaid world. So I think I can get there from here. I just want to transition the screen once. So we're in the underworld still, though the game thinks we're in the overworld, but we go in here, and now we're back in. And this is plaid world. So the name is self-explanatory because of how weird it is. But this is kind of a weird state where you're in EG, but you can interact with stuff. So it's very, very, very powerful at getting around and allowing you to do things. So some runs will use this state to try and get places, but it's easy to get yourself locked in or just otherwise lost.
That's fair.
Yeah, I have no idea currently where I'm going. I never use this in a run. This is just something that you can do. But yeah, this is Plaid World. The music's broken. Things are weird. Yeah, it's quite wild. All right, but let me show you something you could also do with a bottle for rando specific. This is a basic rando trick you can do in competitive rule set. This is nothing fancy. It's very, very easy. So if you don't have the bow, this is now the randomizer learning stream. So if you don't have a bow, and how are we doing on time? How far into this are we?
We're only 12 minutes in.
Oh, okay, we got plenty of time. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make a save state here. If you don't have the bow and you come in here, you enter this room and you have these mimics that you can kill, the green ones, die with the sword, they take damage. The red one does not. And there's a couple ways to bypass this. The easiest way is you use a potion to corrupt the camera to cause it to scroll in a weird way. So now if we go over here, the camera's busted. And we could just manipulate these guys to go off screen. And when the enemies are off screen, the game's like, oh, the room's clear. Let's open the door.
What? Even though they're
still here going around. Okay, that's pretty neat. There's another way you can do this. I'll see if I can try and do it, called the mimic clip, where you come over into a corner, you kill those, and then our goal is to get this guy off screen. Now, in the general randomizer rule set, you're not allowed to go out of bounds. But that's referring to Link. If enemies go out of bounds, who cares? So we're going to make this Mimic go out of bounds if we'll have any luck. So we can do that by doing a couple very specific inputs in the wall. This is like every frame perfect input in a row. So this may take a bit.
How are you doing that with Link not moving?
So if you hold the wall and pull it around, it reads it as a D-pad input.
Oh.
So you can still do stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't done this in a while, so I may just make a fool of myself here with this Mimic clip. And there he goes. He's out of bounds. Doesn't know what to do. Off the screen. Now, the Mimic's still up there somewhere. I don't know if I can bring him back. Yeah, but the Mimic's up there somewhere. I think I'll see him when we transition. Whatever. And you can do that to get in there. But that's done by essentially getting the Mimic into the wall. And you're doing a right input and then a left input a frame apart, like that. So it's tough to do without practice, but I do like a slide on the D-pad in order to do that.
I see.
Yeah, so that's something you can do. So you can make other things go out of bounds, just not yourself.
Yeah, okay, I see. I see. Okay. And do you know why that was allowed?
Yeah, I think it's because you can get by that with a potion, and Link is technically not going out of bounds. So there's like, it's weird. There's like a racing council. I'm just picturing like 10 people in like black robes and like this council chamber. Who,
it's like this round
who
room.
lay down the rule of the land of this is allowed in the randomizer rule set, or this is not allowed.
Is it not? Were you going right and then up instead of right and then left?
Right and then up. Yep.
Yeah, okay. It was right and then up. You're saying right.
But the red mimics, oh yeah, I'm sorry. Right and up. The red mimics do opposite your movement, and the green mimics do exactly your movement. So that's how that works. Anyway, so this screen, we haven't seen it from this screen before. Oh, random thing. If you're holding an item, you don't go through a mirror portal. So pretty minor thing. It doesn't activate, can't activate when you're doing that. But remember this screen from way back at the beginning of the run, Fu? Mm-hmm. So we were actually down here, and then we screen wrapped to the top. So we bypassed all this stuff, saving like 5 seconds, 6 seconds optimally. And then when we pulled up the map, if you recall, we were like down further than where we were.
Yes.
So there's 3 things that are going on here. You have where Link actually is, which can be manipulated, where the camera is, and then where the game on the overworld map thinks Link is. And we could decouple all 3 of those together. And that's going to lead to something that is kind of useful in overworld glitches modes of Link to the Past randomizer. And that is, stand by. We're going to do a couple things we did before. I'm not going to go over them in detail, but we're going to screen wrap the screen, right? If I can do this right. This is another like frame perfect trick essentially to do this. I've just had great success until now.
Oh, there you go.
So we can navigate down to the Dark World portal, because like up above where I'm at is where the Dark World portal is. So as long as you know where it is, you can find it. So there it is.
Oh, wow. Okay, it was right
there.
So
remember, we scrolled the screen so we were at the very top, and the camera is stuck here. But if we keep going down, we'll basically be coming back to this screen. And the collision is going to line up again. So we came all the way from the top of the mountain, and now everything lines up exactly. See, perfect. But we've gone down a lot. And now the game, if we pause the map, we're on the pyramid. So the game thinks we're there. So you notice Link's shadow is off. Link's shadow is just not drawn, but I like to think that Link's shadow is just hovering over on the pyramid. But more importantly, when we place a mirror portal, let's see, I'm going to save state here. I think this is the spot, roughly. We're going to place a mirror portal here, go back to the light world. But there's no mirror portal. It's gone. What the heck? It's actually down there in Hyrule Castle Courtyard, okay? So that makes sense. Now we need to preserve that mirror portal. So I'm going to flute. If you save and quit or reset the game, the mirror portal gets erased. So you don't want that to happen. We want it to stay right there. So let's go to that spot where the game thought we were.
Okay.
Oh shoot! I killed Aghanim in this seed. I need to go a different way. Hang on. Let's. There is another way to do it. I forgot. Yeah, Aghanim's dead, so that forces a mirror portal there. We don't want to do that. That's bad. But we can go around.
That's so funny. Okay.
So stand by. While I'm going around there, any questions? Anything I can hopefully answer if something's confusing at all? And those of you watching on YouTube, I haven't forgotten about you. And if any of you watching this have a question, leave it in the comments below, and I will try my best to answer in a timely manner if I am capable of doing so. So, or if you just like if you like the run and you want to leave a supportive comment on YouTube, no, I'd like that too, very much. we love our YouTube viewers.
We do, yeah.
Okay, there's the mirror portal.
Okay.
So we found it.
Okay.
It's right there. So if I did this right, and it's been a while since I've done this, so I could have very well messed it up. So my goal is to be in a very specific spot. I may have messed it up. Sure, I think I put it in the perfect spot to not be accessible. Yeah, let's go like one pixel over or something. Yeah. There is a reason I'm doing this.
Oh.
Yeah, the duck's actually like flying elsewhere off screen.
Right.
So that's what's
I just want to see what happens.
Let's see, I think if I set the flags, game states, toggle bosses defeated. Let's turn off Aghanim. See if this works. Ah, damn. Sorry.
Oh, it still didn't work.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Whatever, we'll just go around and hopefully this works this time. But what I'm trying to do is enter the portal to access a room I'm not supposed to do, and that's the pyramid fairy in the pyramid. So unfortunately, yeah, Aghanim's dead. I think if I mess around and load the states from a different spot, it'll be fine. But would rather just play it safe. Try and show off the tech. This is used in overworld glitches settings. You can do a variety of things in the overworld.
But not allowed in rando.
Yeah. Well, no, this is like a setting in rando, essentially overworld glitches. There's like even a logic built around this. Gosh dang it. The hidden guard, giving me a tough time. Okay, this should work. So I'm gonna enter this portal. This may take a couple attempts, and I'm right by the pyramid fairy. And if you get sucked in to the pyramid, so normally you need to beat 2 dungeons and carry a bomb up here. That's another way of getting in here. So this is where you go in and you get the silver arrows. If you chuck that in there, and hey, we got the silver arrows. There's the fat fairy, as we call her. Gives us some, hey, don't throw stuff in here, but hey, we improved your thing, and hey, we got silver arrows. Woo.
Hooray!
So, yeah. So, and unfortunately, you're kind of stuck here. Oh, actually, no, you can just go out. Yeah, I forgot about that. You can just go out. It's fine. I forgot, you're not stuck here. And, yeah, so those are like oh, shoot, I had 1 health. Whatever, it's fine. Anything else I should show off here? That would be
Somebody
funny.
asked, is there a glitch that you've never done but could happen in theory?
That I've never done? That could happen in theory?
That you know about, like something that theoretically could happen?
Well, that's a difficult question. Let's see. I'm trying to think.
That's okay.
I'm not sure if there's... I don't know enough. I know a lot, but I don't think I know enough of something that would be theoretically possible.
Okay.
There are people who are much better equipped to answer that question than I am. And that may be good something to go into the Link to the Past Discord, go into the training room and maybe ask them, hey, anything that's theoretically possible you think that we can do? So, yeah. Anyway, I think that's all I had like prepared as other things to go. But I do have one more thing. How are we doing on time, Fu? How are we doing on time?
We're doing great.
Okay.
You plenty of time.
So I have a question. Let's go ahead and reset this guy. Now, we just got back from the holidays, and a lot of people visited family or had family visit, or did virtual meetups with family and all that. And I know this happens to everybody. Everybody has that one uncle who comes into the family meetup and shows off at how fast they are at beating A Link to the Past. And it's just like, man, that guy's such a jerk. I wish I could beat him at Link to the Past. Well, this part is for you because I'm going to show you a foolproof way to beat A Link to the Past as fast as possible. Well, not as fast as possible. As fast as possible in a very simple, non-tech heavy, easy to execute way. Everybody watching this, after watching this, should be able to do this. So just to show up your uncle that's been like beating your butt at all these years at Link to the Past, well, now you can show them next family gathering, okay? All you need is a Japanese 1.0 cart, and you can do what's about to happen. So I don't know if we want to get a timer on. We'll see how long this takes. I never actually timed this particular route, but we're going to beat the game. Any percents is what this is.
I'll time
Major glitches, and we'll get the timing go. Okay, on go. 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm timing it on my own. Do you still have the other timer going?
Okay, so you're going to start as normal. And if you watch the beginning of the Major Glitches run, it's going to be very, very similar to that.
It's time. Okay. We have some questions after this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I can answer some questions in the next couple minutes. Go for it.
Great. Like now or no?
Right now.
Right now. Do you know Icebreaker Glitch?
I do. You guys want to see it?
Yeah, we could do that one. There's something called Overworld Conveyor.
I can demonstrate some of that.
Okay.
I think.
Ganon Pot?
Ganon Pot is difficult to do. I know how it works. I can show you how it works. I can't execute it at this time.
Okay, so maybe we do Icebreaker Glitch. Can you fight bosses in Plaid World? Yes or no?
I actually don't know the answer to that question. Plaid World is not something I'm deeply familiar with. I know how to get into Plaid World, but I haven't used it in a run. So, yeah.
Okay.
I wish I had better answers for you on some of these questions.
No, it's okay. It's just asking to see if you know. I think that was most of
all right. So we've gotten to this point. This is just you play the game through vanilla, and now we're gonna set up our path to the exploration glitch. Remember, so you just have to jump off this ledge right here. Or this ledge, if you want to. If you're feeling right or left, doesn't bother me. So just go through this, interrupt with a save, and save and quit. Okay, now your exploration glitch is armed. All right, this is where it gets exciting. You saw this at the beginning of the run. If you missed the beginning of the run of all Dungeons Major Glitches, it kind of works the same way. You need to make sure you don't take damage here. Now you can take your time, kill the enemies, just make sure not to get hit. So I'm just gonna this is you, this may be your first time. It's like, okay, all right, we're dodging the guards, it's fine. Anybody can do this. Literally anybody watching can do this, I guarantee it. Just make sure you don't get hit. That's the important key. So, right. Oh shoot, there's some guards there. I'm gonna come down here because I'm not comfortable. And okay, that one didn't see me, so we can just go up here. All right, so now your mission. You need to get down over into this corner, and then you're gonna let this blue guard hit you. Now you're under the floor, okay? You're gonna hold down. You're gonna hold down. You're in this room. Now you're gonna hold left until the screen transitions. Right there, you see that? The screen transitioned. And now we're in this weird room. All we're gonna do now is hold up. So Fu, how's your day been?
Oh, not bad, We're just I've been enjoying the show immensely. This has been super fun.
Yeah, so we're just holding up for a while. Our goal is to get to the top left corner of the EG map, because when we transition up from there, it takes us to the Triforce room.
Oh.
Now, it's very easy to know when you need to hold left and when you need to hold up. So we're still holding up, but the key the visual cue you're looking for, okay, is we're going to get to a room that opens up to the left. And I'll demonstrate it. It's right after this room. Here it is. Here's the room. See, it's open up to the left. So just remember that the room open to the left, I need to go left. Let's go follow that and see where that goes, okay?
Again,
so you're going to follow this.
Hopefully you're not going to hit any of the stairs, right?
No, you're never going to hit anything. So now when you're in this room, the Ganon's music is playing. Because we're in Ganon's room.
Uh-huh.
There he is. So this is actually what Ganon is doing while waiting for Link. He's just sitting here, is like, yeah, I'm gonna give him the upwards trident, and I'm gonna teleport over here. Oh, Link's gonna have no idea what's coming. Yeah, we're gonna get him really good. And he's like, wait, I hear something. God. Oh my God, we made it to the ends. There it is. We're done. Right? The game has been defeated. And you could tell that uncle of yours, try and beat this in under 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's how you beat Link to the Past very quickly. I guarantee you, give it a try. If you can find a Japanese 1.0 cart, you can do this. Everybody watching, I believe in you. You can accomplish this. That's not the fastest way to do that. The Any Percent world record uses a variety of clips to skip a lot of that setup by going out of bounds a different way. But that is by far the easiest. There's nothing precise. There's nothing that you can run into. The hardest part is not getting hit by the guards at the wrong point. That's all I need to do. So yeah, how about that?
That's awesome. Okay, so that was this is a little over 4 minutes.
That was a little over 4 minutes? All right.
That's so funny. Do you want to show off the icebreaker glitch, or you think you're good?
Yeah, sure, I can show off the icebreaker.
All right,
let's reset.
All right.
So the icebreaker, this is something you can do in Randomizer. This is another Randomizer tutorial. We're back. And, Fu, you've been watching a lot of this run. I want you to take a guess which item icebreaker is going to use. I'll give you 2 guesses.
Breaker?
Yeah, we're going to do a glitch. Which item do you think I would use to do some glitch? Some broken item. I don't know what it would be.
Like the cane. The
cane of Samaria. You're right. Let's give us the cane of Samaria, Fu. Actually, let's warp over there. So let's go to Ice Palace. We're going to go... Let's just go to the entrance. We'll start from the entrance. Where we go.
Okie dokie.
All right. So here we are. So what we're going to do is just progress normally. As if we're doing... I'm just going to give myself the hook shot just for convenience. It's not needed, but a lot of times I'll have the hook shot before going in here, just so I can do something like that. So we're going to make our way to a switch room. So just, again, standard Ice Palace stuff. We're not doing anything fancy here. Everything is perfectly normal. So we need to set up this room. Just to refresh these blocks. Again, this is how you beat the dungeon. All right, now here, we need to press this switch, and we're gonna go right. Depending on your routes and what you need to clear, whether you're in go mode or not. Go mode is what we refer to the situation where you have everything you need to complete the seed.
To go complete, yeah.
Right. So that's what go mode is if you're not familiar. You do one additional thing before this. That's just to set up the dungeon. The important thing is here, we want to go through this wall. And the Cane of Samaria is really good at that. So what you do is you do a turnaround here. And you'll know you've got it if Link barely moves. You're going to menu to the cane. And from here, you're going to buffer in a downright input. If you've done it correctly, Link shouldn't move. He's going to be walking to the right. This is called door state. So when you're close enough to a door, Link behaves weirdly. And we're taking advantage of that with the Cane of Samaria to force us to clip through a barrier. So if I've set this up right, when I unpause, you have like a second to get a downright input going, and then it'll transition to that when you're done. So let's see. All right, see, I'm running to the right. Now I am going to, while running in this position, I'm going to place a block, and I'm going to stop moving. Oh, shoot. I accidentally save stated it in the wrong way. I didn't mean to blow it up. So let's do this again. Okay, so now we're here. Let's not blow the block. So our goal now is to sword buffer to the left This gets us further into the door to make this glitch work. So you could do that by pressing sword and left on the same frame. And if I did this correctly, I should go through the wall. Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
There you go. So that's just abusing the fact that you're in a door. And that's specifically useful here because this wall is right next to the door. So we can abuse that to get through. And then you can just go through, get your stuff, and do the whole dungeon.
And there's the big key. Is this like one of the only areas you can do this in because of how close that is to the door?
Yep. To my knowledge, that's the only spot that specific setup works.
Gotcha.
And you guys want to see an easy, super easy bomb jump? This is not even a glitch.
Let's do it.
Like this has definitely happened before, Fu. So this is not at all a glitch. This is just utilizing rebound frames. This is also something literally anybody can do. The setup is as free as it can possibly be. We love free setups at speedrunners because it's easy and you can't mess it up. So if you're coming from this direction in Ice Palace and you want to get back to the left through this door, there are 2 checks over here, 2 chests you need to open up. And we need to get across this pit. Now you could hover across this pit, but the far easier way is you just hold out your sword, face right, and you just get up into this corner. So just hold up right. Not precise at all. Just get up there. Place a bomb, and you're done. Now you're here.
Oh.
So that's the freest, the freest one you could possibly do. If you're trying to like hover or something, and you're going through, it's like you're probably gonna mess it up, like that. And it's like, oh shoot, now I need to go all the way back around. So yeah, you can do that. I think someone else mentioned earlier that you can do hook shots through blocks like this. So while a block's moving, it doesn't have a hitbox, and you can use an item while you're doing that. So it just goes through because there's no hitbox. So it just goes through like that. And you can lock yourself in if you mess around with it. So don't do that. This is purely demonstration. I intended to do this. But yeah, stuff doesn't have hitboxes when you're moving it, at least with the hook shot. So you can just hook right on through it, save some time. Get to places you're not supposed to go to.
Oh my goodness. Look at all the stuff. Okay.
There's so much cool tech in this video. This run is so neat.
Yes. I know that there's more to talk about and there's more that we could see, but I think this is an awesome demonstration of not only like our I keep being like wanting to mix up the category name. All dungeons, major glitches.
All dungeons, major glitches. That's the one.
Right, but yeah, seeing some extra things, things using randomizers, since that's such a big thing in the Link to the Past world, and some other glitches like that. It's been really, really awesome. And I feel like, I mean, you all, hopefully you enjoyed like I did. I know many of you all did.
Yeah, I hope you all learned something today at the end of the day.
Yeah, I learned some things. My brain may have melted in some areas, but it's okay. So yeah, I've had a really wonderful time, and I really appreciate you being on, Phant. So
yeah, thanks for having me. Again, I hope everybody watching had a good time.
Yes,
I certainly had an enjoyable time showing everybody how this works, and getting a great understanding of how things are going. Just it makes me happy, and it gives me a very satisfied feeling knowing, like, oh man, when it finally clicks, why something works, like it just gives me a rush. Like I love it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why speedrunning is so much fun.
Even with my like limited speedrunning experience, I understand that too. Yeah, I think we're gonna be wrapping up here. I appreciate you all watching and joining us this evening. You all are awesome. And this is like how the show goes. We had Phant on. Phant, I would like to know if you have any recommendations for some of the runners to follow again, and then I want to know about you and where we can watch you and where you post on and what you're working on right now.
Oh yeah, I kind of forgot about all that stuff. So I will say, again, shout outs to like Glenn and Joss and everybody else in the Link to the Past speedrunning community for helping me out, answering my questions and detailed insights of how a lot of the stuff works. I couldn't have done it without everybody. So this really was a collaborative effort. Can't thank them enough for being so nice and helping me out. Things to look forward to, GDQ 2022, Hotarubi, who has the world record in this category, is going to be doing a slightly different category. It's going to be all dungeons, but no exploration glitch. So you're going to see a whole bunch of new stuff, maybe some familiar stuff there. So please look forward to that run. Hotarubi's great, an incredible speedrunner who's been around for like ever. So that's going to be a wonderful run to watch. I think it's like on January 15th or something on the current schedule. So definitely check that out. As for me, hi, I'm Phant. My Twitch channel is Phant_TV because someone else has Phant, so I couldn't just get that. And it seemed like all the cool kids were putting TV at the end of things, so that's the history of why there's a TV there.
Okay.
But I do a lot of speedrunning and variety content. So right now I do a lot of Ocarina of Time randomizer. I'm currently participating in a tournament, at least the preliminary stages of a tournament. So I'm doing all that. I do casual playthroughs of games all the time. Like I just got done beating Outer Wilds. I'm playing through Kingdom Hearts 2 for the first time. I'm going to do some Kingdom Hearts 2 randomizer, which I'm having a good time. Yeah, I finally got a PS5, and the first game I'm playing on it, and so far the only game I've played on my PS5 is Kingdom Hearts 2.
Kingdom Hearts 2.
Just how things go with speedrunning, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, you can find a whole bunch of variety stuff, collab stuff. I'm a VTuber. I like doing collabs. So,
Yeah. Do you post anywhere else that we should watch your gaming content on?
I do have a YouTube channel where one of my projects I'm working on right now, outside like putting Twitch VODs on, is I want to do basically this, except get like a whole bunch of like fancy overlays and graphics and all this stuff to move around to do a very detailed breakdown. Essentially what you just saw, but more refined and with the things written out without me thinking on the fly. Something you can't do in like a live format. So I don't know when I'm going to do that, but probably eventually. But outside of that, I do have stuff on YouTube I'm trying to grow, and I have a Twitter account, all that other stuff. You know, all the social media things.
And is that also just Phant_TV?
On Twitter, I'm Hollywood Phant. There's a reason behind that. From last year, why that's the case, I'm not going to talk about it now. I've talked about enough glitches so far. So
awesome.
That's basically it. So if you like what you saw here, consider stopping by during my regular stream. I'd love to talk more about things, and would love to see more people, as always, as would anybody. So
of course, yeah. I mean, as you can see here tonight, Phant is a very, very nice and very well-read individual.
Thank you.
We love him over on the GDQ side, and you should definitely go check him out. Give him a follow, give him some love. Go say hi. Go, ask what he's working on. Ask what he's doing with Zooter and that tournament and all of that stuff. I was saying tourney and tournament at the same time.
Yeah, I'd be happy as well. Like, come over to my stream. If you want more detail, I'll go pull it up and show you.
There you go.
I'm always happy to do that.
Yeah, so there's lots there. Definitely check out Phant. Again, if you are watching on YouTube, feel free to check us out live here. If you want to watch more of this content for Games Done Quick, it's just twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick. And in terms of stuff coming up for GDQ, we've got a GDQ 2022 online.
It's so soon. I'm so excited.
I know, it's so soon. I need to get all my stuff ready. Oh my gosh. At least we have some things done ahead of the time, but yeah, there's a lot to still do. But yeah, that is January 9th to the 16th. You can check out the schedule at gamesdonequick.com/schedule. And please watch and support and do all of that, because it is benefiting. I always mess that up when I say it out loud. It is benefiting the Prevent Cancer Foundation, and always a good cause, and super, super fun event. I know somebody said they were excited for Awful Block. That's always one of my favorite blocks as well. So pumped. And then some Zelda games. We always have some Zelda and some more amazing content, which you'll hear about in the pre-show. So enjoy the pre-show. That's always half an hour before the event starts.
It's a good one, I promise.
Yeah, yes, it is good. It's good. I'm really proud of it this time. And then tomorrow, starting at 7 p.m., we have Aimbot. So that is a show focused on first-person shooters. So you can see speedruns in that category. So make sure you check that out as well. So lots of fun things coming up. We always have a great lineup of Hotfix shows. You can always look more into that. And thanks, everybody, for watching. I will see you all within a couple of weeks. I have to get that all organized because of AGDQ coming up and and ask about that. But yeah, I am Kung Fu Fruit Cup. And again, I was joined tonight by Phant_TV. And I'll see you all next time on the next episode.
All right, bye-bye.
Have a great rest of your holiday. Happy New Year for those who are watching before then. And happy AGDQ. Bye, everyone.
Bye.